It feels like that might be what's happening. Oh,
there we go.
I was there earlier.
The man right there. Oh, did you get cut off?
Did you get kicked out?
No, I called at 10. Nobody was there, so I hung up.
What? Okay.
Okay, well, don't do that next time because
People call
I
it
called
701.
at 7 and no one was
I
there.
don't like that. It says if you're the host and all these other instructions, I don't like that. So I just
You literally don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
nah, I don't
you
like
just
that.
go
I feel like it's giving me directions and I'm supposed to type in some code. I'm waiting for him.
No,
I'll just hang up and call back.
Hey, brother.
I've always done that. Like every single time. If I'm the first one, I hang up and I call back. I never
You're giving yourself right. You're giving yourself a bad reputation of being the last one on the call when you could just be the first one without doing anything. You would only have to call once.
You know what kind of logic Castro has, the way he counts giants in a crowd.
First of all, I looked at
that same logic.
God,
season
dog it.
and my estimations are fairly correct. You go look at that little scene when they're flooding in past. What you go look and they're placed strategically across from each other in a convex and a concave pattern. That you don't count how many giants.
You're all of it? You're all of it?
Right. Right. So anyway, if no one's on the call by 7:01, he hangs up.
So bring it all back around. There it is.
The party. Oh my God.
No,
I will say you have some crazy logic, but you have an amazing vocabulary. So it kind of like evens itself out because you're about to call me something, and I'm not going to know what it means.
White Walker perpetuated offenses are considered especially heinous. In Westeros, 4 dedicated friends investigate and discuss these vicious episodes as members of an elite squad known as A Podcast Has No Name.
I am Aphrodisiac.
I am DJ Ambush.
I am Curly Castro.
I'm Morg, and we are A Podcast Has No Name.
Podcast has no name.
No name.
No name.
Remember that time we tried to get Rod to do that with us, and he was like, "Oh no, I know."
He's like, "Oh, I didn't do it." I've seen y'all attempt this many a times.
Yeah, y'all gonna be.
It's funny when I've seen y'all attempt it. You ain't seen shit, nigga. All right. Well, let's get to the name of the episode is The Pointian.
Mm-hmm.
And this is season 1 of our big rewatch, episode 8. And a little tidbit: this was originally aired in June 5th. That's my mama's birthday.
Hey.
2011. Hey.
That makes no sense.
No, none whatsoever. Oh, God, what was I doing in 2011? I don't know if I was strapping young man I am today. I was still living
in Philly. Yeah. Where was I?
2011, yeah, I was in Philly. You was too. Morgs wasn't.
Oh, yeah, I definitely was. I'm trying to.
I just moved back to Portland in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah,
really?
No,
did you live in Philly twice, Morgan?
She only lived in Philly once, but she's only here for like a year.
Right? Yes, correct. And but when I say I moved back to Portland, I mean from San Francisco, not from Philadelphia.
Oh. My bad.
Right.
That one.
I was like, okay. I was like, wait a minute. What? Okay.
Mm-hmm. A little lie. Come out in the podcast. Anyway.
No lies. No lies. The timeline, y'all. We were talking about the past. Did we not?
You would have been fine if you didn't start this goddamn podcast. Yeah. No, I wish, we're going to have decades. Yeah.
I do have one thing that I want to talk about in this episode as it goes on, but and that is pace, right? Because I think in the last season, we had this illusion that things were so much more sped up, but they're hopping around a lot in this episode as well. And I think that if we can kind of pay attention to that as we go through, things like the Ravens and when they're arriving, when people are arriving in places, like Tyrion's going from the Vale to meet Tywin, stuff like that. It's kind of like, maybe
in an episode.
In an episode, exactly.
I think the pacing we felt was distorted because the nature of the show being a road movie all the time. And so when we saw, we didn't have an aerial view of the Hound and Arya. They could have been circling them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we thinking they're just taking a straight beeline to places, but they're kind of going around. Even when we see Bran making his travels, we think he's just going through the wall, but they're kind of going around. So we don't know how much people are taking circuitous route around places instead of just going straight. So, but I think the nature of the road movie, people on the road, Brienne and Jamie, they seem like they were on the road a minute. They were with Boltons, then they were over here, then they were rolling by themselves, and so I just think that's what made us feel like the elongated time, or it takes this long for one group to get here. Also, the show started off with them being on the road for 2 months, so we just assume you have to get into this caravan and load up, and we just start travel. Dany traveling across the Red Waste or in Essos, it seemed like that was a long journey. She seemed like Moses. Traveling for 40 days or whatever. So
that seemed like it took the whole season.
Yeah.
I mean,
it did. It definitely
we definitely
did.
want to keep that in mind. But I think it was a function of the show, though, what they were doing. But go ahead.
Agreed. I think we'll see it even more so as part of the rewatch as we get into some of the later seasons. Just those journeys as they were taking, but the journeys didn't just function as them getting from one place to another. There were huge plot devices for every single character that was on the journey. All of these journeys changed them episode to episode. We were watching these people change. We were watching relationships build. Like, I think if we really look at it, like, we can almost narrow down everyone's transformation to some long journey they had on the road, either with themselves or someone else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, it did seem kind of annoying at first when everything just kind of got sped up in the last season. It was like, all right, like you said before, we don't need to worry about how long it takes to get anywhere anymore because what happened on that journey doesn't even matter. It doesn't. Like, Arya's grown. She's an assassin. We don't care what happens. Who she bumps into at this point because she's already developed the person that she has. It's just travel.
It's just travel. It's nothing spectacular or noteworthy happening on the travel, except when Arya bumps into Ed Sheeran in episode 8. But that is what it is.
And the internet goes bananas.
I think what I take from that though is that the things that we were annoyed with in this last or the most recent season of being like, oh, we're just throwing all this shit to the wind. They've been doing that.
Right.
Because this episode is the whole point. They're everywhere. And those ratings at one point go like fucking tweets.
Exactly.
Everybody knows everything. Yeah. So, and Lysa got one in the morning. Like, who knows? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that shit, So they've been doing this. We just forgot, and it's right in front of us. We shouldn't have been annoyed. She's awful. She's completely awful. But I think that's a great call-out, Afro, because seriously, at the end of it all, they've been doing that. They've been all over the place. It's been super slow and super fast. And that's funny that we either didn't receive it that way the first time or forgot about it. And it was a point of contention for us in the last one. Like, how am I supposed to keep this straight?
Right. It's not believable. I was heated,
She was heated?
But there were so many moments of that. There were so many moments of being like, this. What? Okay, I'm with you with forget certain realities, but aren't there supposed to be some rules? Like, there's got to be something. And then, yeah, I think they've just been using it all as a functionality for the show the entire time. Go slow when they want to and super fast. Anyway.
I think we were just keen to it. It's past the books. We know we're getting to the end. So we could be even speeding it up on our own, like I was saying, and not noticing this has always been the case. You know?
Yeah.
Just the finality of things. All right, Maura, take it away.
All right, so we opened the pointy end with Arya at dance lessons with Serio. And they're going to town. He's left duck, left this to follow in directions. And then we get flashes to the Red Keep where all of this shit is going down. Should I have mentioned where we're picking up from? Anyway, all the shit's going down, and all of Ned's men are being just slaughtered. And the Lannister men are everywhere.
Was that overzealous to anybody?
I thought it was. I mean, what was the point of doing that?
Even watching again. Yeah, I didn't get that to them to start murking everybody. I didn't get that.
I definitely think there's another way they could have handled that. Yeah.
Well, was that also in anticipation of them trying to force Joffrey off the throne? Like she was Cersei preparing for that as well? You know what I mean?
I feel like that may have been Tywin. I think it might have been Tywin. And working in concert with Cersei, or Cersei at least consulting him. Because I think it's referenced later on how, you know, he's quick to kill people off without an issue. Like Tywin just, you know, he clears the tables. It's not even a question. And I don't know if Cersei would have made a move that bold without consulting her father this early. We know later on she don't give a fuck. But at this point, she's still kind of, you know, all right, Pop, you know.
Yeah, more. Couldn't it have backfired? What if they didn't win these little skirmishes?
I don't think that was ever an option to them. This is a hostile takeover. So they're preparing for a hostile takeover, not let's just capture Ned. They're preparing for full-blown war. And that's what the mistake that Ned continuously makes. And the Starks, like we're seeing Robb be like, okay, well, I'm going to get all my guys and get over there. Well, they've already thought about that. They've already thought about you receiving this raven. They are already 8 steps ahead of you. So it was way overkill, and it absolutely didn't need to happen, but it was for sure a hostile takeover with this, you know, thinly veiled lie of Ned's a betrayer. But getting rid of all of those people, that's just they don't fucking care about them. Yeah, they don't care if those people lived or died. Like,
you gotta protect your ass too. Like, you can't capture Ned and then leave all his men out there to conspire as well. I think that would be that's not a good move.
Definitely not a good move. It just felt like, does he even have enough men? Aren't there like 50? Like, does he have enough men that you need to kill every single one? You know what I mean? Like, that's why it seems like overkill to me. But no, they just
why did they kill Lady Ornella? Why? You know what I'm saying? Was that a message? That's what I'm getting at. Like killing Lady Ornella.
That was
that was a lot.
They also mount her head. They mount her head later.
I think it's also all a part of that hostile portion of it, that taking over. It's conquering. All this shit is mine, B. All of it.
And also they wanted to take a bite of the Starks too. They got they wanted to take not just exile them out the city. They wanted to take a bite out of them with the whole capturing.
Yeah, because I think that Cersei knows, and Tywin for that matter, they all know that Ned would be happy to take his family back to Winterfell and never talk to none of y'all ever again. Like, he ain't gonna bother us. We could not bother him. But that's not the way they roll, you know, like.
Yeah, and Joffrey, we learn later that Joffrey enjoys torture in some ways as well.
Right.
So when you talk about, like, Lady Ornella and what they end up doing with her head, don't we also see Robert's head? Like, I feel like he makes a moment of doing that just to scare the shit out of Sansa.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. So that was strategic in picking her. And, I mean, Ned, obviously, but when they saw Lady Unella's head, he's just, like, right then he was like, ooh, I'm going to psychologically torture her forever.
Right,
exactly. She's not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
So I think we're seeing a little bit, I think we're seeing some of Cersei and some strategy, some of Joffrey and his fucking crazy shit, and then probably some of Tywin's counsel as well.
I still don't believe that Cersei, I don't believe anything Cersei says that is good is ever true. So, like, all of the I loved Robert and I was infatuated and all of that, I still don't know that I believe that. I think Cersei has been as cold-hearted from the beginning.
No, but
I think she's way more Tywin than all of us give her credit for.
Well, I can agree with that, but let's give it context. Mm-hmm. She was young. Like, the way she described Robert, that didn't seem like she was putting on airs. He was young, he was strapping, had a big beard, a war hammer, he just won a war. So, yes, it was strategic by the family placing her in that situation, but I think she definitely was infatuated with him in the beginning. Like, sometimes, I mean, later on, we definitely
I don't think the whole thing is a lie, Castro. I just don't think that she's ever been invested in anybody else like that. So I don't think that, I think you can be infatuated and not be the way she described it. I think you can be excited for something and not be head over heels and loyal to it. I don't think she's ever been loyal to anything but a Lannister. You know what I mean? Like, and only the ones she likes. So I don't believe none of that shit. So with that, I just mean to, I'm just trying to point out that there's multiple times we go back to, like, Joffrey wasn't that bad until, like, Joffrey was awful from the fucking moment he was born, and so was Cersei.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Like, yeah. All right. Sorry. I took us on a trip there. So they're killing tons of Ned's men, go back to the dancing, and then we get to the hallway with Sansa and Lady Unella.
Okay. So they're walking, and of course, Sansa's dissing Arya. Lady Unella's asking, where's Arya? Because they're preparing to leave. And Sansa says with disdain, oh, she's with her dancing teacher every morning. They're dancing or doing whatever. Then you start hearing the sounds of fighting off in the distance, and then it's actually getting closer. And Unella, being, wizened and partly enlightened, she alerts Sansa to go back to her room and barricade the door. Sansa, being a petulant little girl, what? What's going on? Why? Just fucking go. Like, do what you're told. We told you to fucking go. And you're like, well, why? Why is the sky blue? And where's my Joffrey? Is he coming to marry me in a room while I go? Get the fuck out of here. So Sansa runs to her room, and some real good acting. And set, because as soon as she turns the corner, the soldiers woke up on Unella, and we find out that she is not long for this world. And bye, Lady Unella. And her cross-stitching and stuff. So,
her cross-stitching
and stuff.
Sansa runs off, and then we cut quickly over to Serio and Arya practicing.
Right, so they're back at it, and we're watching Arya pick it up. In some places, she's dropping it, and Serio teaching her lessons and how to read people and not, always not always believe what you hear or believe what you see, but have more faith in what you think is going to happen, and read the moments for what they are. She doesn't take the lesson as well as she should have initially, but I guess that's just Arya with anything she learns. She bucks it first, and then later on
she's also like 8 years old.
Yeah, but she's so advanced for 8. It's just great.
11 on the show. She's like 11. Let's give it.
Okay, is she?
She gotta be. Yeah, because she gotta be 14. Wait. Let's just for reference sake, we're about 3 years into this story, right? Everybody agree with that?
What?
Like 3 years.
Are we that far into it?
Since we've started, I would say 3 years, y'all. You don't think so?
What are you talking about?
I mean,
you're saying episode 8 is 3 years later.
No. I said just for reference, the whole totality of the series. Since we've been watching it, 3 years have passed in Westeros. Since season 1 to season 8.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Does everybody agree with that? Least.
Yeah.
I need more time to think on that.
You need more time.
Yeah.
Morgan, do you agree with that? About 3 years?
I honestly haven't a clue. Like, my points of reference are so all over the place where sometimes
don't use Bran, don't use Rickon.
Oh, okay.
Use regular.
Why can't we use Rickon?
I know. Don't use Bran. No. I think if we use Bran, that's probably the easiest way to go. Because Bran was a pup, man. Now he's like a tall, crippled dude, but he's tall and grown at this point.
I mean, but Rickon,
so it's been at least 5 years.
Like
at least.
5. And he skipped a season.
How did we get here?
I don't know. But why can't we use Bran and Rickon? I feel like that's dirty.
Yeah, I think we should definitely be able to use them.
Pull that rule out of nowhere.
I was only excluding them because they had particular growth spurts. I was saying, like, use Jon. He's a little older. Like, I'm saying something that's
Jon,
realistic.
how are you supposed to gauge how Jon has gotten older?
No, you can't. And I didn't mean points of reference by particular people's growth. I meant points of reference like when they make mention of seasons and how long they were that time, or like it took so-and-so 2 months to travel this long, or 4 years to travel this long.
Well, I think the story makes an effort not to give us a lot of that, hence us having the conversation. Like, there isn't a lot of time.
I'm using the dragons. The story started before the dragons were born.
What is the gestation period of a dragon and egg?
But also, Dany being pregnant, we're going to get that at least 9 months. So just knock a year off that.
We don't know if Dany was pregnant for a full 9 months.
She
gave birth to a dragon lizard baby, and not to a human.
We don't know it looked like that. We don't know. Did they show the baby? They didn't show the baby.
Oh, okay.
They never showed the baby. And they didn't show no Rosemary hand baby reaching out of some crib.
Rosemary hand baby.
God. No, they didn't.
But they showed the reaction. They showed the reaction.
And someone did say it was like a dragon, or there was scales or something like that.
I thought they were
and a tail.
I thought it's the Dothraki.
It was a hybrid.
It's the Dothraki. They exaggerate. You know what I'm saying? He could have just had one of those
lizard babies. They did it with blood magic.
Oh my God, blood magic. Blood magic.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Yeah. So we're back with Serio and Arya, and then we got some Lannister men that come up in the lesson, and man, I wasn't ready for Serio to go so soon. Definitely wasn't ready for it. And as he's that's Arya's man though, right? The main, one of the main gold cloaks. Would you stop saying what like that? Like you have you mean
if you're gonna interrupt, you need to have it together.
I knew that was coming. I knew that's what this whole thing was about. If you're gonna be interrupted, you cutting off people. You need to be acknowledging a lot. What's his name, man? Remember?
Yes, that is dude. That he is on her list.
Okay,
he's on her list.
Yeah. I will put it on mute as per psychic suggestion, motherfuckers.
Psychic suggestion. So as Serio is taking it to them, I remember this is the last time we see him, but part of me is like, well, he had to survive because he is taking them out with the wooden sword. Okay, the sword gets broken. Who cares? He's gonna pull something else out. He's gonna take one of the fallen soldier's swords and keep it moving. There was nothing in me that convinced me in this moment that we lost Serio. It was just like, nah.
There is, when you're not paying attention to what's around. He didn't kill those people he was fighting. He only knocked some of them down.
Yo, he knocked them out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He knocked them down.
He didn't knock every last one of them out. They were like,
you can't really pierce
I'm just
someone
saying,
with a wooden sword. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying is eventually, as she was running away, I think a couple of them got up because you heard a couple of swords clanging. That's the problem.
Yeah, but
he knocked all of them out.
There was also
because three of them with swords against him, and the guy, and that main guy, he can't really win that. That's all I'm saying.
But I guess my point was more so that the fact that he's knocking them out is showing mercy, because all he needs to do is get one person's sword after he knocked them out. He could have killed everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like he continued to knock them out and fought the last dude until his sword broke. At any point, he could have grabbed something and just been like, all right, let's get it cracking. So it just seemed like he had full control over that situation. So to decide to die seemed kind of weird, So hopefully, I still got my fingers crossed. I don't know about you guys. I still got my fingers crossed for him to pop up in this last season.
He's gone. He's gone. Unless he was a faceless man and his face pops back up, maybe something like that. But I think he's gone. No, just because they set it up. I watched the scene again because I was like you and him. They never showed him die, but the fact they showed that other guy again, he never got brought up like that he was lying about it or anything. You know what I'm saying? Usually somebody could bring that up. Oh, you killed Serio for real, quote unquote, air quote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we never saw you do it, and that never came back up. The actor probably has other obligations because we don't see hide nor hair of him. I don't even think after like season 3 or 4, once Arya started training, you don't hear her even mention him. She was mentioning him before, but then I'm just saying she doesn't say his name much after like season 3 or 4.
Doesn't pop up on SVU or anything. Once he pop up, he doesn't pop up anywhere. He just gone.
Yeah.
He's probably not even acting. He's just gone. Now,
my favorite part is he says, "I am Serio Farrell."
Right. First sword of Bravo. First sword. Dude, he's the first sword. That means he's the top guy. You don't go out like that.
But that's also something he was saying to Arya. We don't know if that was true. We don't know if that's all the way true. That was something he was saying during training to Arya. He didn't say it around Ned. I'm just playing advocate here. So he might not have been a first sword, but it was something he was saying to Arya as part
he might
of
have been the second sword. Who knows?
Yeah.
What I do like about the scene that played out like really well was how when the soldiers first came, they were like, your father wants you, and Serio's like, why would her father send Lannister men? And immediately Arya's like, this don't even sound right. I'll probably do that. Like she was not going for the shit. I feel like Sansa would have went for the shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of course he would send Lannister men. I'm marrying Joffrey.
We're going to get to Sansa. We're going to get to Sansa this episode. And I assigned some of those to myself. We're going to get to her.
She going to get to talking. So Arya, she makes her way to the castle. She finds the underground passageways that she was hanging around in before, and she makes it off. She gets up out of there. Next, we got Sansa trying to make her way back.
Yeah, so Unella told her to run back to her room and lock the doors and don't let anyone in, but she didn't make it because Sansa's not about it. She's just flustered and running in circles probably. And in the process of that, she runs into the Hound. And she just says all the dumbest shit. She's like, stay away from me. I'm going to tell my dad. I'm going to tell the queen. And he just laughs at her like, who do you think sent me here? And
right.
So, yeah.
And it was gross.
It was.
It was
super gross. It was super good. The look in his eyes was super gross, dude.
So
early on, when the Hound used to really part his hair to show that scar, I really wasn't enjoying it. Like later on, he was doing more of a comb over thing, but early on,
yeah, he was never a top knot guy. Unfortunately, could have been.
What could have been? What could have been?
So So yeah, then that scene cuts, and you see that Arya has made it out of the building, and she runs into that wagon that we talked about.
So she's so Arya's scavenging around. Quick learner. She's realizing something's off. So she knows these are her things. So she starts looking for Needle. And then a little resembling the butcher's boy, some kid who's like, parent must work there. To me, all right, now help me out here, guys. This to me seems a little rapey. Like, I don't know what the kid was about to do with her, but you didn't get that. You seem like, oh, come in.
No, he was about to turn her into the queen.
No, I'm not. I'm really not exaggerating, y'all. I was getting some rape because I was even like, I was like, what is he saying? Because to me, it got to there's chaos in the street. We're gonna see it later in this episode. It's rape and pillaging time.
So he calls her Wolf Girl, number one. So I feel like
he knew who she was.
Mhm. And then number two, he states like she's like my father or something, and he's like
he'll reward you.
Yeah, right. She's like, my father will reward you. And he's like, no, she will reward me, the queen, that is. So he's like, he sees money in her. Money and food is what he sees, and that's probably the crazy eye.
Do you think that's one of Varys' spiders?
No, I think this is a rapey young boy who's lurking around in the chaos and seeing if he could touch some girl's booty. So anyway.
Okay, so for once, I don't think this has anything to do with sex.
Agreed.
Also, Arya is like the little boy. Like, she passes for a boy to a lot of people. Right. So I don't even think that's like the girl you would go for. I don't know.
If we can call back to what you said, he looks like the butcher's boy, like his parent works there. Like, he's there because it's take your son to work day.
I'm not saying he wouldn't get in trouble on a normal day, but I feel like it seems like, somebody joining the riotous actions. That's what I said. Maybe I was
all right, Cascio. Let's delve down there. Let's delve down there a little bit. We're only going to go like 6 feet down. We're not going to go 12. Delve a little bit. All right. This little kid, at this age already, this kid has an inclination to rape. It's a little kid.
Not so much rape.
No, give me a second. Like that. Okay. I'm not saying it's illogical, but like that's the first place.
His first instinct was to be creepy, though. His first instinct was to be creepy.
I think the creepiness was I think the creepiness may have been overacting. I think the creepiness may have been just overacting on his part. I don't think that was his intent at all. Because there's nothing that he said that came off that way.
Let's move along because we're perturbing Afro. It seems like I am. Oh, God. I can hear everything you say, young lady.
We choose the wrong rabbit hole sometimes, guys.
Okay. Man. And you just want to throw the dirt in after mine. When I go down my rabbit hole, you chuck the dirt over top of it.
I mean, 3 people are like, nah, son, it's not rapey. And you like, nah, but it's mad rapey. So I just feel like
I'm trying to show that I really saw this angle. And I wanted to stick to that point, and maybe some people, when they go back and see, they might see some of the. I'm not just going off on a whim, my dear. I did just watch the episode like yesterday.
That's not even the best part of the scene. Can you get to the best part of the scene?
Oh, I'm going to get to the best part. I'm going to get there. So she starts struggling with the fat boy, and she actually has Needle. I remember when I first watched it, I didn't know she had retrieved Needle, and she stabs the shit out of her. And this becomes Arya's official first kill. She mentions it to a couple of people later on, seasons later when they ask her about it, but this is her first official kill. This is big for us, being fans of Arya. We didn't know how many more kills she would amass. And to me, this showed that Needle worked, because I still didn't think the goddamn sword worked. I still think it was a prop for a minute. But fighting up the boy. And also, sometimes you forget, it's not just a period piece. Like, people don't get patched up really easy. So if you can stab somebody and they can't get to Mason,
when the urgent care.
They can't just walk-ins welcome. They might, take a L. So, like, we see later my point is Needle actually works. And that's what the scene is. And then what else I like is Arya has her wits about her. She's not sitting there screaming or crying like Sansa would do. She runs away. She runs off.
But repeat, though. Remember when she was running, I forgot to mention this earlier, when she left Serio asked her, what did we say to death? And she's not today. Not today. But she was saying that as she was running around the hall. Yeah, not today.
Yes.
Not today.
Yes.
Not today.
But I mean, by running off right then, he's around other dead bodies. God knows who killed these people. I'm just saying, she's keeping her wits about her.
Sansa with a scream. Yeah, Sansa with a scream.
Yeah,
coward.
Fell
like,
to
oh
the
my
ground.
God, they're dead people.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is messing up my dress and my chances with Joffrey. Like, all right, we'll get to it. Okay. So now we shoot to the dungeons, and we find out, we didn't know all the way where Ned is actually at, and he gets a visitor.
Yeah, so Varys comes walking in, looking like he has the worst outfit at the costume party. It's like, what are you wearing? Why do you, even the men who wear this uniform don't look as bad as you look in this uniform. Do you not know how to put your hoodie? What is happening?
When your hoodie is tight and you're not engaged in actual athletic competition or practice, right, you should get a looser hoodie. He could have traded that thing back in and got something.
What is happening?
He was all cinched up. Why was he all cinched up in a big robe? He's all cinched up in a giant robe that's falling to the ground. What's wrong with you?
Like, come on. So he comes giving Ned some water, and they have a little conversation. And he's basically playing catch up for Ned, letting him know everything that's going on. And Ned's like, you just sat there and watched? And he's like, again, rewatching this, we're looking at Ned like, this is Varys. Whenever have you seen him fight anyone or anything for any reason? Like, what would have happened? If he would have jumped in, would you be getting water and information right now, Ned? First to be dead. So what are you talking about? Be happy for what's happening right now. And then I think there was something else he said. Oh, I think this is when he said, surely you know you're dead. And he said it just so matter-of-factly. It was funny as hell to me. Like, I mean, this is the rap, I guess we try to kind of put everyone at some point tried to get in there about Cersei. Everybody, whether it was Renly, whether it was
or just to make the move. Because remember, you make reference to it. Cersei is Tywin, so just to make the move because isn't that Littlefinger or somebody else is mentioning that Tywin's not waiting around for you? So,
yeah. So
the other thing interesting about that scene is Ned being there, thinking that he still had some sort of upper hand and leverage because he thought that Cat still had Tyrion.
Yeah, definitely did. Yeah. Like, what do you say? Your wife let the imp slip through her hands or whatever? Mm-hmm. And he's like, as long as it's true, just kill me now.
Yeah, exactly. Slit my throat, call it a day.
Get about it. I don't know what my girls are. It's whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we cut to the wall.
One last thing I'm sorry about that scene is that at the end, Ned asked Varys, like, what's your deal? Who do you serve? Like, whose side are you root? Like, what are you?
Right.
And he's like, I serve the realm. Somebody's got to do
it. That's code for I serve myself. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I think it is. I always believed. Once I got more information and saw Varys in action, I started really believing he meant what he said when he said that he serves the realm. So because to me, serving the realm is a little less switch-sidey than like Pycelle or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
And
serving the realm and who?
And it's less self-serving than like Littlefinger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's more to me than just serving who's ruling. Which even Barristan and Selmy did that. He switched sides once, right? Yeah, he used to serve the Targaryens, and then Robert didn't kill him. He brought him on the king. So,
right?
It happens.
Right. So then we were back at the wall, and they have discovered some of Benjen's party, from the Dead Rangers.
Yeah, so they've got a couple of dead guys, and just chilling in a little trailer thing. And they're all, like, looking around, and Sam's like, wait a minute, the smell. Someone else is like, huh? I don't smell anything. He's like, right. If these people are been dead for a while, wouldn't they be rotting? Oh, good point. Okay. So John's like, let's burn these bitches down. We don't need to see them. Just burn them. Someone else was like, yeah, Snow is right. Burn them. And I can never keep these guys' names straight. Which one was that? The Lord Commander? Who's like,
Lord Commander. There was Lord Commander was there. Alistair was there. They all were looking at the thing. I think it was Lord Commander.
Was it? Okay, it was Lord Commander who said, like, Sam, you're useless, but you're also really smart or something.
Yeah, yeah, it was Lord Commander.
Yeah.
It was like, man, you ain't worth a shit here, but you are smart.
This is simultaneously the point where I knew Sam would be a vital member of the show and where Am initially started despising him. We want to diverge.
Did that happen?
Lord Commander's assessment was spot on. No, Lord Commander's assessment was spot on. Spot on. Yeah.
Ask, what were you saying?
He answered it, so.
Yeah. What was
that? That's it.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. The body's supposed to think they don't think. Sam was right about one thing. Woohoo! Nope. Get him on
Wow.
Yo, I've never heard of this sassy about anything, yo.
The sass is serious.
Yeah.
Serious.
The sass is real serious when it comes to Sam.
Some
serious Sam sass.
I can't wait until the dragon glass scene and might like pop a blood vessel or so. I can't wait.
Yeah, so he's like, you're smart, but we'll examine him because we're smart too, and we want to see what happened to these guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Someone help me remember which raven hit them at this point from King's Landing.
Oh.
Was it that Ned is in?
Yeah, prison? I'll talk. Yeah, I'll talk about that.
Well, okay. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Wait,
so,
wasn't it like two messages though? Because he was telling John some info, and then he was making him sit down for the rest of the info.
It looked like it was all the same.
All in one.
Message. It was a big ass piece of paper too, which usually doesn't happen. It's usually like a little scroll, but it was a piece of paper, and like the middle of it.
Did Ned write it?
Was full of text.
No, but you know what could happen? Something as simple as maybe they have people transcribe them. Like they're small at first, but then they have people transcribe them.
Oh, yeah. That would make sense because it didn't look like it was rolled. It looked more folded or something. Mm-hmm. So that actually might make a lot of sense. So yeah, they again, Morgan, Lord Commander, whichever one. So this was Lord Commander. He asked John for a horn of ale, and he's like, you might want to get some too. And so he pretty much tells him that King Robert's dead, and John asks about his father. He's like, yeah, so about that, he's been charged with treason, and they're saying he conspired with Robert's brothers to deny the throne from Joffrey. So that was interesting to me because I didn't remember that from before. I thought it was just he's treasonous, he's, denying Joffrey of the throne and trying to, I guess not even openly denying that Joffrey is even the child of Robert. That's just how I remembered it. Like, Ned was just like, nah, none of this is going down. But I didn't realize that they tied, like, extra charges to him. Like, he's conspiring with Stannis and Renly and, all of that shit. So that was interesting.
Renly ran off.
Renly did run off,
Renly ran off, took Loras with him. And then also, remember Ned sent Stannis note about the illegitimacy, and I think word got they started. Everybody's gathering armies because we see not too long, an episode or two later, Renly has his army, and Stannis subsequently has it. So just the fact that was going on, I think that's when they wrapped it all together there, because they were the ones laying claim to the surviving Baratheon.
Right. And even without any real connected way to tie it all together, they were going to slap everything on Ned that they could. You know, throw all the charges and see what sticks.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was interesting. I completely get it. I just didn't remember it like that. And I was like, oh, shit, they had bad charges against him. So that was interesting. And then John's like, give me that letter. Let me see that. And he just jumps up. Like, he's like, you know, confirms the information for himself. And he jumps up. He's heated. And Lord Commander's like, yo, I hope you're not thinking of doing anything stupid because, you know, you're with us now. You know, you're not into all that king, queen shit anymore. You are, you know, a man of the Night's Watch, and, like, this is where your loyalty and your duties lie. And John's like, yeah, but, you know, what about my sisters? And Lord Commander's like, they were probably treated gently. And that was just kind of like it, which sucks. So John is, I think, continuously learning what it means to be a man of the Night's Watch over and over again, and having to, and I think we see that as he grows, as he becomes a little more like stoic and less attached to all the family stuff over the years. But you're just seeing like the inklings of that now. Yeah. Anybody have anything? Hello?
That was pretty specific.
Okay.
All right. Podcast or whatever.
When it sounds like when everyone is on mute. When everyone is on mute.
All trying to be extra respectful. I'm like, don't want to make any noise while you're talking. My bad.
Thanks,
Look,
guys.
but does anybody else still react when they're on mute? Like I talk.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm like nodding my head and stuff, and I forget.
Yes.
Nobody can hear me.
Oh wait. Oh. Yep, all the time.
Good. It's not only this. No, continue. After that was good.
Yeah, I think that is it for that scene. And then after that, we flash to Sansa in King's Landing with the Queen and your boy Castro and Varys and Littlefinger, and they're all like, yeah, all talking.
Let me talk to y'all, and this is no way disrespect. I love women, but I'm gonna have to speak with a certain tone during this little segment.
Oh God.
Sansa sits down across the table from the Queen and her cronies. This little bird sits down, and they start talking at her really fast about her father being a traitor and what are you going to do, what are you going to do about your brother, yada, 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 yada. And at first, when I first watched this series, and I watched this episode, I was like, pitying Sansa a little bit. Oh, my goodness, she's captured. What is she going to do? Of course, she has to write the letter. You have to survive. I didn't know what the rules and parameters were. But upon this rewatch, I realized that the little bird Sansa sold her family right up the goddamn river and should have been ashamed. They didn't do much to coerce her. They weren't pulling out her fingernails or anything like that. They were just talking to her with a stern voice, how I talk when I'm all excited or talking about bitch-ass pipes up. And then she's like, oh, I know my father's a traitor. And she didn't have to do that. She's still a kid. She could have, no, I don't think my father did any. I don't know what y'all talking about. And maybe they would have thrown in the pen, maybe not. Maybe they would have kept her as like the ward walking around all scary. But I think she definitely
wants to marry Joffrey.
That is way out the window, young lady. That's way out the window.
Let me just let you know how off Sansa is. That is the first fucking thing she says. She's out of her fucking mind. She's like, no, my dad's not a traitor. He knows how much I love Joffrey. He would never do that. Like, why is that the reason why your father would not be a traitor? Because he knows how much
things that matter. Of all things that matter, but then she also makes you wouldn't do that so you can marry Joffrey.
She makes the adolescent point. She makes the adolescent point. Oh, I'll be a great wife. Yes, I will. I will. I promise I will, because I'm saying it over and over again with this tilt in with this lilt in my voice. Girl, he been moved from that. He been moved from that, and she's still saying it. Again, she says it in this little, Cersei's trying to bait and switch her and catch her in certain wordplay. It's interesting because it's like a police interrogation, but they're not recording it. But they're definitely trying to get her to admit to some things that she knows is false. And I feel like, I know there was certain survival things that kicked in for her to behave this way, but she didn't offer any resistance, y'all. Like, that's why I'm like, what? Like, when I'm watching, she didn't offer any resistance. And we know
the one little bit she did was saying, if I could just speak to my father, then I think I can clear this up. That was like a tiny bit of resistance that she offered.
And she did ask that twice, because I think, if I remember, they asked her something, and that was her answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and then
they was
a traitor's a traitor. Okay, no.
They were saying such horrible things about your family, and whether you were there or not, they know you weren't there. I still think you could have took a stand, somewhat, and been like I said, they're two extremes, but we already know what Arya would have done if they had her hemmed up instead of Sansa.
They would have had to kill Arya. She ain't playing.
Arya would have flipped that table. She would have pulled out her fucking sword. Like, it would have been all kinds of shit going on.
Yeah.
And so then, big time. And then, they coerce her to write the letter. The letter, we'll get to hear it in a couple of scenes, but a letter to Robb with Sansa's hand, but definitely relaying the message that they want to relay. All right. So the next scene, we're right here at it. Speaking of said letter, Robb received the letter back in Winterfell.
So quick. Like that. It's a tweet. Robb gets the letter. Mike Lewin identifies it immediately. Yeah, it's just sister's handwriting. This is the words of the queen. And Theon's there. And you can see the excitement in Theon's eyes as Robb is starting to man up. Like, okay, now we got to make this happen. We got to do this. We got to call the Bannermen together and get it cracking. And there was even a positive reaction from Lewin. Like, okay, all right, you're not just standing in a ceremony. You're not being a punk about it. We're moving forward. And this was great because we all know what this leads to. Robb out here making shit happen, not waiting for anyone. I mean, it doesn't turn out all good, but it's great. It's great action. It's great movement. It's great movement for the storyline.
Understatement of our broadcasting lives. Well, it doesn't turn out all good, but I get the point. Like he definitely is one of the first movers and shakers in the story. Even though we see Tywin out in the battlefield, he is like moving in response to what Robb is doing.
Speaking of moving and shaking, Theon notices that Robb is doing a little shaking. And he's like, what's good, my guy? You all right? Your little shook over there? And he's like, listen, that's fine. It's good to be afraid. It means you're not stupid. Look at Theon with the wise words before he turns complete jerk. I love this. I'm all for this Theon. After that, we cut to Kat. Kat back at the Vale with Lysa and Robin.
Yes, so Kat is with Lysa, and she pretty much, Kat just comes like running into the room on some like, bitch, you had this letter since dawn and you ain't even tell me. And Lysa is sitting there all chill, like, I mean, yeah, but it was addressed to me, and it's a courtesy that I'm even showing it to you, so I don't really see what the problem is. And so, yeah, Kat's pissed. She's like, my husband's a prisoner. My son is intending to declare war. And, you just got this info. You just wasn't going to share it. And so Lysa's like, look, go to Rob, talk to him about patience, just let him know that, he can chill. And Kat's like, are you fucking kidding me? You want me to talk about patience when my family is, like, going through all of this shit? So I'm guessing that you are going to support me, right? And Lysa's like, I mean, you're always welcome here, but I can't really get caught up in all of that shit. Which I'm like, bullshit, because when Kat pulled up, y'all wasn't even trying to welcome her in. So to say you're always welcome here is, like, the least you could do for her, but it's still bullshit. And then secondly, yeah, she's going to need your help, and you ain't got that. And so, but then Lysa, who I always say is like, we have the enlightened ones about the White Walkers, and then we have the enlightened ones about the Lannisters. And Lysa has been that one from the beginning. She's been like, look, bitch, I told you about them so you would stay the fuck away from them. Not keep going to them, not bring them to my house, not fucking start a war and get me involved. Exactly. So while Lysa is, like, nut-ass crazy, she's also, like, a little bit right. Like, just stay the fuck away from them people, yo. I don't want to have nothing to do with them. And Kat's like, but we got to stop them. Like, you just going to sit there and you're not going to do nothing? And she's like, yeah. I'm going to stay here, and my fucking knights and army are going to do the same thing, stay here, and do what they need to do, which is protect us in this house from those motherfuckers. Also, we have an incredible view here. We live in the sky. It's pretty lit, so I don't really want to go anywhere else. But,
Mom, I'm hungry.
You know I have a moon door, right?
Right. Exactly.
Mother,
right.
I'm
So when people come here, I can fucking send them out of my door. Also, meanwhile, her son is begging for the nip. He's like losing it. Mommy, I'm hungry. Give me. Fucking tugging and pulling at her.
Oh, yes.
And so she's like, look, why don't you go take a bath, and then I'll fucking breastfeed you when you're done and clean.
I need her to look at him and say, you're a grown-up. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. He was literally pulling, untying
the string on her
shirt
shirt.
like an infant. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, the hell?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I mean, pretty much at that moment, you can tell that Kat's made up her mind that she's just like, I got to still go do this and take care of my family. So I'll be there in 10 minutes.
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
Now.
Mega bus.
Yes.
So, yeah. And then we cut to Tyrion and Bran, who I guess, I don't know, how long ago did they leave the Vale? A couple days?
5 minutes ago?
I'm not sure. Well, no, let's use our context clues. We all know they don't change their clothes. They don't change their clothes much in this. They're always kind of wearing the same thing.
Well,
but I think if it was, no, I know that, but I think if it was more in one day, we would see a little soil to it, maybe sleeping on the, in the woods.
No,
maybe a leaf or two. I feel like Tyrion wouldn't look so clean if they were.
Go with the Ravens. Go with the Ravens. Go with the Ravens. No, go with the Ravens. Go with the Ravens, dude. The Raven that they received let them know what was going on at King's Landing. What happened at King's Landing happened either the same day or the day before. We can't go by what things people have on their shirts. We can't do that. It's impossible.
Well, what happened last episode? Did he get freed last episode, or was it the episode before that?
He got freed last episode.
Okay.
So Tyrion and Bran are on the road, and Tyrion is whistling Dixie. He's just going to town. And Bran's like, Sam, you have to chill. You're too loud. There's hill tribes everywhere. Shut it down. And Tyrion's like, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. I'm a Lannister. I'm insanely wealthy. I just buy my way out of situations. It's not a big deal. I would extend my hand to those guys. And Brown's like, I could take everything you've ever owned right now and leave you here. The beautiful lightweight threaten that Bronn gave him was wonderful, and Tyrion's like, yeah, I don't know what you think this is. I don't have any sort of false idea that I could beat you up or something. I don't want to. I like that you like to kill people. That's what this is about. I want you to be my security guard while we're going through this hill, and that's it. And Brown's like, okay, then I just want to be clear here. You're not my lord. I'm not going to kiss your ass. I'm not going to be your friend. I'm not doing any of that shit. I just want to get the money. And Tyrion's like, well, I like being alive, and please don't forget that I have all the money.
I have a side question, considering how much Tyrion talks about his wealth and what we know to be true. Are the Lannisters better at manipulating credit than the Iron Bankers? Now, to the side, because Tyrion, we know from the first season, obviously we're watching it now, all he talks about is, we got this money, he gets these favors, and they never paid everybody back until the season we just watched.
They don't pay the big things back, but Tyrion always pays people. He's throwing coins fucking everywhere.
Right, we've seen that.
Yours,
But we've also
they
come to
don't
know
pay
that
the
the
big
Lannisters
shit back until they do. Yeah,
but they were dead broke. They were broke. They were just living off the saying. It's not even their house's actual saying. I just thought it's very clever to think of for the length of the show how much Tyrion was broke. They were broke. Cersei broke.
Right.
Well,
Tyrion definitely was broke. Tyrion's definitely broke because everywhere he goes, he doesn't have money somehow. Somehow he's resting on his name everywhere he goes. Whether his money gets taken or he just doesn't have any, he needs a room, he needs this, he needs that. Somehow he's resting on that the entire time.
Very clever little man.
Anyway, so then they go to sleep.
Right. They nap it out. And just like Bronn was trying to tell Tyrion the whole time, the Hills people come up on him. And it seems like, I don't know. Yeah, so it felt like, I don't know if it was just me, maybe it's just the direction of how they shot the scene. It felt like he was seeing things way before they actually showed us anything. Because they kept cutting back to the woods.
Right. They were highly camouflaged. They were, they were wearing pelts and stuff.
So they cut back and forth twice, and I'm like, I still don't see shit. What is Bronn seeing right now?
He probably was hearing
I don't see nothing.
Yeah, he's Bronn is adept. He's a tracker probably. He's hearing the rustles, and then eventually, when you turn back real quick, now you're surrounded. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point. You know what I mean? So he's trying to wake their land. It's the Hill people's land. You know what I mean?
True. So he's trying to wake Tyrion up, and finally Tyrion gets up and he's like, "Holy shit, my G was right. I should have kept quiet. They done found us." And these guys look like wildlings that have lost their way. They look like super rough wildlings, mad dirty. They're going a little far astray. They just got trapped on the wrong side of the wall, but they still got wildling tendencies. I can't imagine them having any real land or anything. They look effed up. They look harsh. They look like they eat people on some real shit. So
and they women look hurt. They women look beat. Like she's hurt.
No, so
her face looks like it hurts.
So I didn't even see her in that first scene, but I didn't remember there even being a woman until later on when they showed her and I was it was a rough situation. It was a rough situation. Anyway, so Tyrion goes through trying to strike a deal, and listen, hey, again, you know who I am. Keep the ring. I got more of this coming. Escort me safely to my peoples. and we'll be good. My dad, he owns a dealership. I'll get all you guys cars. We'll be cool. And, you know, don't know my F with us. Just hook us up. And again, this is them, you know, this is a classic case of, like you said before, Castro, him working his credit. Because, again, we find out they are super broke, super broke. But we can imagine that Tyrion goes from town to town, brothel to brothel, just saying, I'm a Lannister, I pay my debt.
Yes, very much so. We can assume that because we've watched him do it numerous times, and that just seems like that's his modus operandi. But like Mord pointed out, like you pointed out, he does pay his debts. We've seen him toss coins. He's, you know, paid for rooms here and there and stuff like that. But definitely knows that his name is a reputation. Something that coincidentally the father always talks about. It's the name. Tyrion uses the name properly. Is what I'm saying.
Definitely.
The other thing is, I feel like Tyrion probably ends up in a lot of trouble. Like, A, because he's small, B, because he's got a mouth on him, C, because he's always drunk, you know, all of those things together. He probably always ends up in some shit and really has to use that as his, like, get-out-of-jail card. So others might kind of flaunt it and be like, do you know who I am? But I feel like he really needs to use that shit because he's always in some shit, and that's, like, the one thing that kind of makes people start to listen a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to see, not to skip ahead. You know I'm going to get 3 of those in every episode now. Not to skip ahead. But we do notice, after a point, the disdain that the father has for him, we built it up as just him being the son he didn't want, but also there's a look a parent gives the fuck-up child. Oh, my God. And he's coming in with all these weird, wild, enormous people. What are you concocted now? Like, you know, I come into your room, the bed is upside down, the dog is in the closet. What's going on in the fucking prison here? You know what I mean? So there's definitely a lot of that. I can agree that he's probably had to be bailed out. There's been many ravens sent to Tywin. Tyrion is doing this, that, and the third. And, you know, definitely. Yes, I agree.
All right, being reckless in these streets. Okay, so after that, we cut back to the wall. The guys are getting some dinner together.
Yes, so the dudes are getting dinner together at the wall, and this is straight up, like, I don't know if you guys were ever the butt of jokes and shit and back in school, but this was that shit when you just minding your business, you know, you ain't saying nothing to nobody, you're not in a bad mood, you're not in a good mood, you just minding your fucking business and doing what's in front of you, and somebody come up to you and be like, what are those, you know what I mean, and everybody's like, yo,
not to retread, that's Brooklyn all day. We grew up on the dozens, you know what I'm saying? It's talking about my mama, you know what I'm saying? Talking about my grandmama, talking about my dog's mama. You had to be ready. No, for real story. So we used to stand in the hallway at the end of school, you know, when everybody letting out, and you get with your little clique of friends and stuff. So I went to a gigantic high school, so I had a big group. I mean, we're all kind of waiting for everybody, but not really or whatever. And there would be moments, this one guy's name was Opio Marshariki. He was just very talented at this. And we would all be standing in line, the guy standing on one side, maybe the girls, a little, you know, in cliques. And he'd start looking down at us, and he'd start going down the line. You know, what are those? What are those shoes? Fish scales? You gonna swim it like it just one, and he would just bang, bang, bang. And if you would catch him doing it, and it gets like the 5th person, and you're like 6 or 7, you gotta get out the line. You just leave. Like you would leave early from I gotta get out of here because I'm not gonna catch these bullets. And I mean, he was really good. Bang, 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 bang. One insult after the next, and we're all just cracking up laughing. So yeah, the dozens were very prevalent in my upbringing.
Thank you, Castro.
Game of Thrones.
For that colorful illustration.
Game of Thrones.
So yeah, that's what happened to John. John's sitting there cutting meat just like everybody else. And so which commander is this? What's his name?
This dude, I can't remember his name. I hate him.
What? Not more.
Second. Second in command.
Yes.
Alistair Thorne.
Yeah.
Alistair Thorne.
Right.
Yeah.
So he comes in and he's like, out of the clear blue, he's like, yeah, that's a rare sight. You're not only a bastard, but a traitor's bastard. And the room is silent as fuck. And all of these, like, stares go across. Like, John looks at him, he looks at John and smirks. Everybody looks at Jon. They look at each other. They look back at Jon. And Jon's like, yep, I'm going to kill him.
I made up my mind.
Yeah. But he was so chill about it. Like, you weren't really sure. Like, maybe he's about to say something clever. Like, nope, I'm going to use this knife in my hand. I'm going to fucking butcher him. And, and so, I mean, he did that to provoke him, obviously. And then he's like, oh, you'll hang for this bastard, you know, blah, blah. So now everybody's looking at Jon like he's crazy because that's what happens when people push you to the limit and then you do some next level shit. Now everyone's like, oh, why'd you react? I'm not taking
who gets in trouble? Who gets in right? Who gets in trouble? The person that hits back. The person that hits back.
Exactly.
They'll tell his white teacher that's not paying you any goddamn attention. They say, oh, go sit down, little
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. And then
I'm not touching you. That's that. Oh my God.
That's a countdown right there. I'm not touching you.
Right. Yeah. It's a fucking time bomb. So anyway, so then Lord Commander's like, you know, Jon, I told you not to do anything stupid. So now Jon's in trouble, confined to his quarters. So he's like, fine, whatever, fuck y'all. I ain't want to cook this fucking dinner anyway. And I'm like, you know what? That's actually the come up, right? Because now you just go to your room and wait for dinner to be ready.
Right. Meat or washing dishes or, you know, looking like, I think there's also, and unfortunately it is, I think some of the guys at the wall take that for women's work. I'm pretty sure some of them were raised that way.
For sure.
And, you know, tending after another man, being a steward, you know, it's a clever little title, but some of them probably embarrassed with it at first. Especially somebody like Jon who thinks, I'm going to get up there, I'm going to be a ranger, I'm going to ride out with my uncle. That's all he thought he was going to do. He didn't think anything about washing dishes. I got to wash dishes? No, this is not going past the wall. I'm a ranger. I eat snow.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And I know I'm the absolute only person that noticed this. But the meat they were slicing, it looked good. It looked like they was gonna get it cracking. It looked really nice. There was some good.
No offense. It sounds like some cowboy shit if I've ever heard it.
That is the super Kool-Aid man.
Oh my God.
That's some Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah. Through the wall. Oh yeah. That meat that was so succulent. I didn't even notice to me. It's so dark.
It looked succulent. That's the word. Succulent.
All right, well, that's a good eye. I've never looked at their food. I always thought them to be disgusting because the way Walter Frey eats, I think they're just disgusting people in this time period. So I've never looked at their food. I really don't. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
You know what? I'm ashamed to say I probably would eat like Walter Frey if I was back then.
Oh God!
Get your hands in. This is not Ethiopian food, Am. It's not Ethiopian food.
It's definitely not.
All right. He doesn't even wipe his mouth. He's old. They're drinking the ale. They slam it down. Like, what is wrong with them? Like, put a napkin in your chin. I mean, do something. Have some decorum. You're a king, for Christ's sake. Jesus Christ.
Again, like I said, I'm probably the only person that noticed that, so I just wanted to throw it out there.
I thought you were going to really pull out like an obscure fact. Some shit that was
I'm
in
the only one to notice. He's the only one to notice. You damn right.
I got distracted.
You damn right.
Yeah. I was like, man, are they going to do that? How are they going to? Okay.
Look. Is they going to Sufi it? That's what you thought? They were going to Sufi the goddamn meat?
I didn't know. I was curious.
They're Neanderthal men. They take the meat, they put a stick in it and put it over fire. That's it. They don't even season this shit. Did you see any seasoning?
No.
That's what you should have known.
No.
Not one damn seasoning. No seasoning rack. No nothing. No salt block. No nothing. Just eat the meat.
Seasoned by the flame.
Seasoned by the flame. That is the title of the episode. Oh, God. Okay, back to you, girl.
Okay.
So yeah, that was pretty much it. Now we know how Am feels about that scene.
So we know what his key takeaway was.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, that was it for that. And then he's confined to his quarters, so he heads to his quarters where he comes, where he's chilling, and Ghost is fucking flipping out.
So now, as an owner of pets myself, I was just totally annoyed, and I would have probably just opened the door and let Ghost run out, like, just get the hell out of here. I'm already upset. You know, I'm grounded and shit, and you're going crazy and shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I've done it to my cats many times. Ain't that right, Bunny? She's sleeping.
Oh, my God.
So Ghost is kind of going crazy, and, you know, this is our lassie moment. What is it, boy? Is someone in trouble? Right? So he follows Ghost. Ghost actually has a full-on destination. I thought when I first watched it, and then I noticed it now in the second watch, I thought it would be more he just kind of goes out and he's sniffing, but he's in full-on bark attack mode. It also gives us a little glimpse that the dire wolves are a little different because they're still dog-sized, wolf-sized at this point. They're not huge yet. But he knows something more supernatural. He's picking up something. Again, remember, these dead people don't smell, so how the hell does he know anything? He rolls into Commander Momont's room. John follows him. And then Ghost goes into, he opens the door, Ghost goes into the room. They both enter the room and don't see the white who's behind them at this point. And then they close the door. He's looking for Commander Mormont, who's in another adjacent room. And the white comes at him. Now, I know did y'all notice that this, I mean, it's also season 1 stuff that gets changed. But he looked a lot different than how the whites ended up being. And not just like the super dead ones. They worked on the eyes being more stark blue. These eyes were blue, but they were kind of dull. And he had something was going on with this guy's skin, it looked like. Like, it looked like they were frozen, but they weren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, they looked like he was like freezer burnt.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Ed. It looked like that, like something happened to the skin. Now, that could have happened. They could have... We do know that you turn into a white when you die over there. So maybe they died not at the hands of White Walkers. Maybe they just froze to death. And then when they brought them back, they came back to life or whatever. So he's fighting this undead. John is using anything he could find. And Commander Mormont comes out because of all the commotion. And they're fighting, and eventually they end up killing the thing. I think it goes after Commander Mormont, and John gets it eventually. They push it away. They start noticing stabbing it. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. But he stabbed him and noticed that didn't work. That was kind of important. He stabbed him with kill stroke or whatever, and pushed him away, I guess. And then they noticed him get up. Now this is another something different than the white. He pulled the sword out, which I don't think the current whites really do. Like, I'm not saying I've seen them fight with stuff in them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he was more conscious. It was more conscious acting zombie to me. Like, he pulled the sword out and then went back at them. And then John grabbed the lantern with his bare hand, which I noticed, and screamed and threw it at him and realized that fire is the way. Fire is the way to get rid of these things. And, of course, no one is even remotely making a small deal about it. But that's very true. Like, it's just like anything. Like, people still at the wall don't believe that there was whites and White Walkers running around. So it's more evidence to the contrary. But because of the nature you have to burn them, again, we get to that in our current season, where you need to bring somebody some evidence. Otherwise, they're going to think you're just telling stories. And I think that's just because of the nature of the realm. And these things have been, we talked about it, fairy tales and nightmares so long. You learn about them as kids. So somebody runs into you like, yo, Santa's in the next room. You're like, yeah, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, you think somebody's joshing you or whatever. So I think that's what's going on. All right. And then we shoot back over to Essos, and we have the actual Drogo's claim coming to fruition. My son is going to be the son that mounts the horse that conquers the world. And they're on the, raping and pillaging, right? Danny is watching this. She is not feeling this at all. And I feel there's a lot, it's writing and it's a story, but there's a lot of naivete that she thought this was something else was going to happen when they were in there screaming and illations and going, yeah, I didn't know what she thought that was. They were going to politely go to each town and say, hey, we need chips, thank you. No, so like Dothraki have their traditions and they're carrying them out. I feel bad on this rewatch knowing that I should have been screaming at the screen, yo, leave that broad alone. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her.
She don't want to be saved her.
You know, we see it now. I see Maz Madura, and I see her as like, oh, you're vile. You know what I'm saying? You took off one of our greatest characters. I don't know now if I could see it with different color eyes. Like, I don't know. I don't remember if when I first saw it, I didn't. No, I do remember. I didn't think anything of her. You know, I'm going along with the story. But now when I see her, I'm like, God damn, Danny, like, you should have let her be. Like, this is also indicative, and tell me if y'all agree or not, of Danny not listening to the indigenous people she's rolling with. Like, the guy was right. What he was saying.
Yeah, she's a witch.
You know,
she's a witch.
Like,
she ain't shit. Leave her alone.
But also, like, not just being superstitious, like she talks too much, or witches' words are not worth it. Like, for real, don't let her cast no spells. And that was mainly, he was speaking from experience, and Danny took it as him being chauvinistic and being barbaric. And she should have listened.
Yeah.
And once the girl instructed them what to do with that wound, should have done that herself anyway, but that's getting ahead. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
now that you say that, actually, okay, yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What's up?
I was wondering why they didn't have a healer, like, on deck already. You would think that they're native people. You know, they rolling with mad people. It's not like, oh, we only got like 10 of our best folks out here.
Right.
It's like a whole fucking horde of them. And y'all don't have a healer with you? Like, I don't understand that at all.
They just let
I think there's both. And I think, yes, they just let people die, but I think also the fact that she jumped up with the diagnosis and she was speaking English to Danny, you know what I'm saying? I think that shot her to the head of the line to deal with that. Because to tell you the truth, it might not have got infected if you just left it alone. It would just heal fucked up. I keep looking at the wound, and I was like, damn. I mean, in this realm, people do die of boards. You know, you die from regular shit if you don't get treated. There's no triage, no emergency. So,
but if the Dothraki have been traveling this way with no healer, with no nothing, with no, you know, like, somebody's been healing from a cut. You know, like they've seen it work. They've seen it work.
Maybe it was something with Homeboy's blade. You know what I'm saying? It was a deeper cut than we even thought. Because I remember when it first happened, I thought it was like just, you know, when somebody flicks their sword against somebody's cheek. Like it's just a slice. I didn't think it was that deep a deal until a little later. And I was like, it was, and then now we watch it. He did lean into it. It was a deep cut. But he did.
He was
like
walking into it.
He cut him at first, and then he said, ugh, and he leaned into it, so it was even worse. So, but let's let.
My key takeaway from that is sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, my key takeaway from that is that the wound itself, as gross as it is Drogo's fault.
He did that.
Most definitely.
He did that.
And we could see that in hindsight. Yes, he did. Like, I think it was a certain wound at first, and then he leaned into the guy holding a sword up against your flesh. Can't be good.
Right.
So, but again, I just wanted to bring that up. That now when I watch, I think her name is Ms. Madura, or it has a name, it like rhymes a little bit.
Mary Madura. There's a lot.
The alliteration. It's better than Zorg, Zakzak, Zoran, that dude. But
I don't know who that
is. The black guy with the safe. I'm gonna meet him later.
Oh, that's his name?
It's like Zor.
I was like, is he talking Klingon? What's happening?
Right. I was like, nope, not a clue. I'm out.
Damn, we know the guy's name.
We're now watching a different show.
Wow.
A podcast has no name. And we moved to Star Trek.
Yep.
I just didn't know.
I walk down the hallway.
No,
you're not down
the corridor by yourself.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Hey, where'd y'all go? Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
You go on ahead. You tell me what's out there.
Tell me what
you
it
go on
like.
right ahead. We'll be right here. We'll be waiting for you. Now that actually happened to me. I got into a fight. There was 20 people with me. They all ran because of the neighborhood bully and left me there to get beat up. Anyway, so a lot of personal casual stuff this episode. But yeah, literally, we all came from the bus. I was provoking this one guy. He fought all the people in my crew. He wouldn't fight me. And I was walking after him, and the big bully in the neighborhood lived in his building. So I was trying to provoke him in the hallway, downstairs. Yo, fight me. Yo, what's wrong? Everybody's behind me, hooting and hollering. Yeah, fuck him up, P.J., fuck him up. And Carlito comes downstairs. Carlito proceeds to kick me in my chest first. And, you know.
You really from Brooklyn?
When I turned around.
You all the way from Brooklyn.
Right. When I turned around,
Carlito
all
comes
of them
down the stairs.
were gone. Like, you got to see 20 people running away from one person. You got to see it. And then not just that. They ran, like, right around the corner, like a cartoon where they all poking their heads out and that descending line, like Fat Albert. And then when I come around the corner, they're like, yeah, man, just get your cousin to beat him up. Oh, not the 20 of y'all with me to beat him up? Get my cousin, right? Yeah, thank you. When my lip busts all open, I'm damn near crying. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah,
thank you. That's top-notch advice, guys.
Terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
You were my life coaches.
So again, sorry, saying the point 3 times. I really dislike this woman. I know she had motive, but I can't stand. She took one of our great characters. Anyway, okay. So then Dany claims all of the women, and this is Dany's on her new cause of freeing slaves and unshackling the people on this land. She starts with these women that are going to be possibly raped. And also, she gives a caveat: if they want to take the women, they need to take them as wives and support them and all that. And they ain't having that. You see, the homeboy just walked off. He's like, no, I ain't signing up for none of that.
Like, this is a whole bunch of bullshit. I'm about to have no wife out this job. I don't even like that.
I ain't trying to get married. Like, what are y'all talking about?
Right. And then there's a little temperance because Drogo gives her a look. Does he? Does he give her? Oh, no, he's not in the scene. Sorry. He's not in the scene. But the other people like looking at her because she is asserting herself. Does she reiterate that she's a Khaleesi in this scene again? Does she say something like that?
She does that later.
To Drogo.
I think.
Yeah. That's
okay. Sorry. All right. Okay. And so now we move on to Dany and Drogo like meeting up to talk about what just happened.
So Dany's got to explain herself to Drogo because she has stopped the pillaging and the raping for a moment, and dudes are like, hey, bro, get your girl, because she over here fucking off our shit, and this is what we do. And Drogo's like, no, I don't know. And he's just watching, and Dany's asserting herself and explaining herself and saying, this is bullshit. You guys can't have them. You have to take them as wives, or none of this is happening. I claim them all. And the fact that she's going back and forth with Mago really gives Drogo quite the reaction.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the way to say it. Oh, wait, say it. And she does at some point. I don't want to go to. I don't want to. I can't remember where that happens, but she does explain that she's a Khaleesi, and they're saying, "Listen, you're gonna have to listen to me too." So Drogo's like, "Oh, look at her. That's my boo. We're gonna listen to her because you see that fire, you feel it, you hear it. That's my baby in there. That's my stallion that's gonna melt the world, son. That's what my baby is doing to her. She's totally different." And that's because of my baby that's inside of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you made it sound like Kanye or something.
Right. How Sway? It's my baby. It's my baby.
That's my baby, Sway.
See, it's my baby and Kim. That's why she's great. That's why she's
and that's why she's different right now.
All right.
Hit her with the intelligent legacy.
When she puts her hand to
intelligent. Give him that.
Inside of her hands are black, Sway. When she flips her hands, they're black on the inside, Sway. That's how I know.
Because of my baby, Sway.
That's how I know.
Because of my baby. So yeah, so Drogo's like, this is the bee's knees, man. I'm all about all of this. That's my baby in there. He is making my wife a totally different person. She got all the confidence. I'm rolling with her. Mago, find somebody else to fuck. You don't have to do the weird shit. You can just, do what you find somebody, talk to them first, and we're gonna move forward. And Mago does not have any time for that. He's pissed.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is heated, and he spits on Drogo. And he's like, you're taking orders from your girl, and that's no cow of mine. And Drogo's homeboy, whose name I always forget too, he's got the second longest ponytail, right? What's his name?
I don't remember
that
his
guy.
name, but I know he's talking about that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, I'm just going to handle this real quick because this is clearly disrespectful. And and Drogo's like, nah, I'll take care of it. So that, to me, is actually the first mistake. You should have gone ahead and let your homeboy handle that light work.
Right.
But I guess you needed to, like, stand up for yourself and show everybody what you have. But people know already. You got to know, like,
he
what
pulled a
battles
Robert
to actually fight. Right.
Yep, pick your battles. Yep, pick your battles.
So the gangster part, though, was that Drogo starts by, he's like, nah, you're cool. You can, like, chill, homie. But then he starts explaining to this guy how dead he is. Like, not like, oh, I'm about to kick your ass, I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that. He's like, we're not going to have a funeral for you. You won't even be buried. There will be no bad bitches at your funeral. You have no honor. You're going to be chilling with the beetles. Worms are going to crawl through your eyes. Even the rain. The rain is going to fuck your dead carcass up. Like, he was going in. And meanwhile,
he did say that. He did say there won't be no bad.
He definitely said that.
That is the name of the episode. That's not the name of the episode. That's the name of some song I'm writing in a couple of weeks.
There will be
no bad bitches at your funeral.
That's Shaq Lizzie. That's Shaq Lizzie.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Jack.
Yeah. All right, you got to open the show up with a Shaq Lizzie snippet.
Shaq Lizzie joint.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, so as he's, like, saying all of this to him, he gets cut immediately, little scratch, which he moves into, like we talked about earlier, which was the second mistake, in my opinion. And then he's still talking his shit, and he's just, like, completely, like, very effortlessly, like, low-key Matrix backbending, sort of like, he won't hit me with that won't work either, you know.
Wait, App, he also disarms himself. Like, as he's talking shit to the guy, he's throwing all his weapons away.
He does.
He's like, no,
with his back to homeboy.
Right,
with his back to homeboy.
Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
Yeah. And so the dude is like, yeah, but you're going to have to kill me first. And he's like, you're already dead, son, and fucking pulls his, I wish I knew is that like your trachea? Your right above
esophagus,
your clavicle?
I think the whole thing.
Esophagus?
I think the whole thing is
okay.
the esophagus, yeah.
And his tongue?
Esophagus. Yeah,
so he cut his neck open and then ripped that shit out. And I was like, okay, that is pretty fucking gangster.
That definitely happened.
Which is probably why he didn't let his homeboy fight him, because he could probably see from the beginning, like, oh, I'm going to rip your fucking throat out. And so he didn't want that to happen.
I want to try my throat rip move on you. Okay.
Yes, exactly. That's like your fucking special on Street Fighter when you like
right.
Yes.
You hit the combination for the 7th time.
Yes.
Like, yep,
get that, yeah. Oh my God.
So yeah, anyway, Danny rushes over to him and she's like, "Oh my God, you're bleeding. It hurts me to see you bleed, blah, blah." Which is sweet, you know, or whatever. They're just at that really mushy part of their relationship where they could pretty much just be, like, making out in front of everybody, like, on the train.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the death sex stares they give each other? The death sex stares after she eats a horse's heart?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, moon of my life, you're bleeding. Right. It hurts me to see you bleed, blah, blah. He's like, this is a fly bite.
This is nothing.
Yeah, it's just
but
like,
again,
no,
but
it hurts me.
I think he's had wounds like this before. I think he's had to have, like, these slashes
Absolutely.
and cuts,
He's a
right?
warrior. Of
right,
course.
they don't have
right.
armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's definitely had some shit like that. And I agree that it would have been fine, probably, had they not done something. But she's like, yo, let me find somebody. My homegirl over there, I just stopped her from getting raped.
Yeah, like
she should really be appreciating me. I don't believe she's actually a witch.
She probably
Homeboy
keeps
saying things. Huh?
Mm-hmm. I didn't think about it, but I didn't think out loud about it. But she probably put something in the wound when she healed it, when she fixed it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
and I think that
definitely.
and that's what I'm saying. She should be appreciating me, but she's actually gonna end up killing my dude.
Right.
And
she made up her mind to kill him when you pulled her out of the scrum. Because remember, not to get to her head, she said she was raped 4 or 5 times by that time anyway. So she always resented Danny because you didn't save me from shit. You would have saved me by not coming through our town and make y'all
Right.
Yeah.
So she's like, I got you. I can do this. Homeboy is like, she's fucking talking too much. I can't even focus. I can't hear myself think. She's a fucking, like, don't you hear me? She's a witch. Like, he slaps her, everything. And that doesn't help. So anyway, they agree that she will let that Drogo actually he's agreeing to let this woman sew and put some sap on his wound. And so the scene ends. Then we move on to Rob having dinner.
Right.
Getting,
so Rob's
his first little taste.
Rob's out there dining with all the bannermen, and they're discussing, different strategies and how they're going to move forward. And I don't remember which bannerman this was, what house he represented. Can't remember for the life of me. But
Karstark, the one that's talking
was it the
Karstark? It's the Karstark. Now,
right.
what's throwing everybody off is, and again, not to get too ahead, but the Karstark.
We see different Karstarks later.
Yeah, they switch. I think they switch actors because he's not the one that, you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say it, but he's not the one that goes through that. It doesn't remind you of him. But I did notice him, and I'll let you go. He's the most boisterous one. He's kind of bucking.
Oh, certainly.
Like he kind of thinks. Yeah.
So they're going at it. They're arguing, and Grey Wind pops up. I like seeing the different dire wolves interacting with everyone psychically because we lose them one after each other. Boom, 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 and all we're left with is ghosts at this point and Nymeria. So it's dope to still see them, especially that small, just going at it. Yo, he took dude's fingers off though.
Didn't get back.
Took 2 fingers off.
Right off.
It wasn't like, I'm just going to chew on him a little bit and back. No.
Right.
He ate,
and it wasn't I'm going to kill him.
Fingers.
That's the psychic part. It wasn't I'm going to bite his throat out either. This is for Rob. He's being disrespectful. I'm going to take 2 of his fingers off and let my master make his point. So there's definitely, I think it's implied. In the books, it's very deliberate. They all war against their stuff and have these visions and shit.
Right.
But in the story, I think it's just implied how they react to one another, like know what each other's thinking and shit like that.
So look, I'm with Bran. I'm totally confused. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum. I said my wolf to eat your fingers. Now let's have a laugh. What? I feel like,
oh yeah, Bran was Bran sitting there? Yeah, Bran was sitting there looking back and forth. Like, what
the hell?
Because here's the thing: if I'm pissed enough at you, then I'm standing up and some more like, listen, I'm not following what you got. It can go down right now, and then your wolf bites my fingers off. I feel like I need to return the favor, and now we got to fight. You just don't. But instead, it's like, you know what? I ain't need them fingers. You was kind of now that I don't have these fingers, I can see you was kind of right. You was kind of right. You just I can ride with you on that. I can ride with you.
It's just fingers.
Bloody
tough.
Your meat is
bloody tough.
Bruh.
No.
Yo, homie said Rob was so green he pissed his grass.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Then he got Debo'd like shit. He got straight Debo'd.
And he took it
when you wolf
did not
around,
get the fingers back. He didn't.
Yeah. When your wolf
bite
my fingers off, I'm gonna be quiet. You know, you be quiet.
When he leaves,
I'm
gonna talk
again.
again.
I'm
gonna talk again.
Hey, dog, no. Yeah, so I don't understand that. That's just, again, the times that we're existing in. Motherfuckers is mad barbaric and they trade fingers for opinions at this point. That shit was crazy. Is there anything else that happened in that scene that was of any note?
I think there was a smirk from Theon in there of like, yeah, you're going to have to stand up, Rob. I think it might have been a real quick Theon smirk. But mostly
before Rob said
Brand's
something
face.
or after? Before Rob stood up for himself or after? Did Theon smirk?
Before, like, as he was standing up for himself.
Okay.
That's funny.
But yeah, definitely remember Brand's face, like, oh, okay, are we not fighting? We're not fighting. We're fighting. No, okay. Oh, okay, we're not fighting. Cool.
This is adulting? This is what I've missed all this time when y'all set me on my
right.
This is what I've missed.
This is great. Aggressive, crazy shit.
Great.
All right,
you know what I mean? Okay. Fingers. How many fingers on this floor? He's probably on the floor looking for other fingers and shit. How many fingers? A lot of negotiating.
Then we cut to Bran. He's resting, and Rob comes to check in on him.
Yes. So Bran he looks like he's pretty much knocked out. It's the middle of the night. Rob comes in and, you know, gives him a little shake, and Bran is immediately like, wait, you're all dressed up, like you got your fucking hound's coat on. Where you go? What's happening? Where you going? You too, nigga? You too? Like, everybody has fucking left this house. Where are you going now? Right. And Rob's like, yeah, I gotta go to Winterfell. I gotta handle this. To King's Landing or somewhere. I gotta handle this shit. It's like, but it's the middle of the night. Like, why are you leaving now? He's like, man, there's Lannister spies everywhere. You can't. He's like, all right, word, whatever. Take me with you. This is what I've been wanting everyone to do. It's like, if we're going to leave, fine, but just take me with you. I've been riding my horse. You see me. I'm nice with it. I can be beside you. I won't bother you. He's like, no. First of all, no. Second of all, no, there must always be a Stark in Winterfell. Like, listen to Maester Lewin, look after your brother, and, you know, I'll be back eventually. But I feel like he also knows that, like, I'm not going to see you again either, so.
Mm-hmm. That might be dead.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
I think
like
so.
He is going to war. He's going to war. Like, he's going to fight. Think about it. He's the oldest. He's been groomed for this. Like, not necessarily to just be in battle, but to lead a vanguard if and when nobody's there, the whole edict of there always a Stark and Winterfell. So he's next up. And I think
it's also pretty dire when, like, okay, Dad was gone, and that was, like, a part of what was going to happen anyway. But now Mom's gone, and now you're leaving, too. Like, shit is really hitting the fan.
That's a lot. Yeah, right.
That's a lot. So, like, I don't know. Y'all trying to assure me that things are going to be cool, but I don't really know.
What, like 2 weeks ago? A month ago, excuse me. He just got paralyzed is what I'm saying. This is a lot of bad dominoes falling for Bran. And in fact, too, like he's looking around, he's by himself. You know what I mean?
Yep.
With Maester Lewin.
Yep. And then on top of that, Rob's like, I'll send messages, but if you don't hear from me, don't worry. Don't be afraid. Like,
no big deal.
No, yeah.
What?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I didn't see that scene with that Raven going out. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Didn't see them.
So yeah, that pretty much happens, and then go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh, and then Rickon comes in.
So Rickon comes in after. Doesn't Rob leave? Is Rob gone at that point? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rob's gone, and Rickon walks in, and he looks like he just woke up too. Like, now I'm sleepwalking, and
Right.
which I thought was funny. Like, did Rob go talk to Rickon first? Did you go say bye to him, and he's just waking all the way up? Like,
no, the youngest, you just poke your head on, maybe kiss them on the cheek, and put their cover over them. You don't have to explain shit to them.
Yeah, I kind of thought that until he came in and was just like, But anyway, Rickon comes in, and Bran's like, everybody's leaving us. And Rickon's like, everybody's already gone. And he's like, well, they're supposed to be coming back in, and he's going to bring mom and dad back, and everything's going to be great. And he's like, nope, not going to happen.
I would like to put on the record, this is Enlightened One number 6. Put him down.
Is it a 6? Is it 6?
It's 6. It was the first guy, right? Then it's Osha and her 3 homeboys. It's Osha and her 3 homeboys.
So we're at 4.
That's no, Osha, and remember she had 3 guys with her. That's 4 plus 5 plus the first original guy.
Liza.
Okay.
Liza's 1 too.
Liza is definitely.
And so now Bran. So we are up to 6. No, I mean not Bran. Excuse me, Rickon.
So Rickon. I felt bad for Rickon. He was so sad. I was like, oh, young Rickon.
So this is the real question. Is that Rickon's first line on camera?
Is that what?
His first line on camera.
What was the question?
Is that Rickon's first line on camera? I think so, because when they lined up to meet the king, he was just at the end of the line.
Yeah.
I don't even remember any of them interacting with Rickon, except like him in the back of a scene or to the side. I don't remember anybody talking directly to him, not his parents.
Yeah.
So I think this is his first. Yeah, this might be his first one. A first speaking scene.
Yes, Morgan, I think that's 7.
Thank you. So Rickon's like, and I'm out. Like, he drops the mic and goes back to bed and shuffles along like the 6-year-old that he probably is. I don't know how old Rickon's supposed to be. But he, like, totally shuffles back in his jams and just goes back to sleep. And then Bran is in the garden praying, and Osha comes, and she's talking to him about how the gods don't have the same power, their gods, and that she does pray to his gods, and that they don't have the same power in the south because all the trees are gone. And Hodor busts in with the full frontal of the half giant's blood penis.
Moby Dick, as I like to call it.
Oh, is that what you call it? You've given it a name?
Do you like to call it that? Do you?
It resembles Moby. It's just a joke about the white skin. You fucking motherfucker. I'm done.
No, I'm just saying. You said you like to call it that, so it's like because you call it often. Is this my last often referred to?
This is my last podcast.
Edit
it how you
take my line. You can't take my line.
It's a mass accident. Me and Morgan gonna start our own podcast. A podcast has a name, nigga. Look, our podcast has a name, nigga. With extra
Our podcast is going to be called Fuck Y'all Little Podcast or whatever.
Fuck Y'all Little Podcast.
That's the name of our podcast, and we're fully appropriating.
I only listen about 10 minutes to y'all podcast. Your little ass podcast. Or whatever, right? Don't forget that part.
Your little one.
You never gonna live that down, girl. Never ever.
So then, Hodor. I'm sorry. Bran is like, Hodor, go get your clothes on. What are you doing? Go get dressed. And he's like, Hodor, and he runs away as happy as a Hodor. And
right.
And Asha's like, she talks about how, the real shit is happening. We all need to get away from here. There are things that you don't know about that are coming, and we gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
So we get back to the wall?
Can I just say that fucking Bran is like the adult. He's like, fucking Hodor,
right.
would you put your clothes, find your clothes. Like, I'm in charge. Ramon's out of bed. Hodor's running around naked. Like, I've been in charge for 10 minutes.
And that comes true. And after that comes true, he does become like the Lord of Winterfell sitting at the table, passing judgments and stuff. All right, so they're at the wall.
She's just laughing at it while all this shit is
so they're at the wall. Are they looking down at the dead white, right? He's on the ground, right? They brought him outside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because what the scene reminds me of is Sam is the kid in class who even remembers there was a test and knows all the answers. So he's breaking down all of this knowledge and shit. Everybody's looking around at each other like, what the fuck? How do you fuck you know this? Like, what? We don't know what we're looking at. And Sam seems to know the what, when, whys, and hows and stuff. And he's dropping a lot of knowledge on whites. And does he mention that you turn when you die over there, or does he mention that?
No, he just mentions the need to burn them. I remember him mentioning them. Turning.
So they all agree that we have to burn them. Again, which leaves you with the dilemma of not having any evidence. In the current season, we do think there's a little folly in that little plan to go grab some evidence, but we see throughout the series it's very hard to convince people of a fairy tale that everybody knows is a fairy tale and everybody has passed on to their family and each other as a fairy tale. It's not like there's a White Walker believer society that's president is Am. He's also a member, and they're sitting there discussing that. It would have been interesting if the story had like a White Walker cult, like people preparing for them to come back, and they don't listen to anybody else. That would have been a little interesting, but there is none of that. So again, it's and then also in this scene, doesn't Lord Commander plan to go south of the wall to see what else is out there? Because these are the dead bodies that that John's direwolf, I can't remember his name right now. Ghost brought the hand back from. Those are the two.
Right.
These are the right. But go ahead, Am, you gonna say something?
Oh no. I was just agreeing with you. I was going to give you gonna say ghost.
So so they agree to burn the bodies, and also they hatch a plan to go out south of the wall to see if they can find any more of this ranging party.
Well, they were burning the bodies in that scene, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that was burning.
They were actually burning. Okay. And then we cut to Kat meeting up with Rob. She finally gets with Rob's war party and comes to the tent.
So anytime I see Kat away from Winterfell, I just keep thinking of all the fuckery that she puts in play. All the fuck shit that happens. And then remembering, here it is. He's coming up on Rob. And it's like this is the beginning. This is part 2 of them bumping heads. Because it started a little bit at Winterfell when she was, they argued a little bit in the room. And he was like, don't worry, I'll handle it. I got it. Don't worry about it. So now he's out here. And he's leading, the vanguard. It's like, oh, okay, So initially, he's happy to see his mom. Thank God you're alive. But then she's looking around, and he's like, oh, okay, we're gonna have some shit here. And before they start,
wait, Am, I took that totally different. I took both of them freezing up because I took both of them like happy to see each other, but they froze up because she can't be all hugging up on him when he's the leader of all these men, and that's why they cleared the tent. Yeah, I took it as we have to both kind of be reserved. Yeah, because we're both in this position, and he has to show this leadership, and I can't be hugging and stroking his hair, my firstborn son, and kissing you on the neck and shit. That's how
she definitely did. They definitely did hug afterwards, but on the way out, dude with the braided beard, when the car starts on, they had a little joke. He was like, you're not missing no meals.
He did say that. You get chunky. You got that belly.
Looks like you're not missing no meals there, pal.
So Rob and Kat, they do finally hug when everybody leaves the room. And everyone was mad respectful to Kat and stood up and all of that, and yeah. So then she goes into this story of how she's like, when he was first born, yada yada, which for me, I don't even remember exactly what she said because I just didn't want to listen, but it was mostly like, you know, when you were born, you were so innocent, and now here you are standing here about to fight this war. And so for me, it was like pride with a side of disappointment. You know what I mean? I'm happy and like sort of proud that you've stood up to take on this task, but like also these other people could have did the same shit, and you didn't need to do that. And he's basically like, yo, you're not sending me home. She's like, no, I couldn't send you home even if I wanted to. And so, yeah, what else happens in that scene? I think that then that's when the letter from Sansa comes out. He shows her the letter, and Kat's like, there's no mention of Arya. And he's like, no. And then they talk about, you know, how many men he has, and, you know, well, that's probably not enough men, but what's the other alternative? The alternative is to go to King's Landing and bend the knee to Joffrey. They both are like, nah, you won't leave there alive. And she's like, the best thing is going to be to meet them in the field. And so they're like, what if you lose? And he's like, if I lose. And then she starts talking about basically the, you know, Robert's Rebellion and what's his name, Targaryen, and basically, like, what happened to him. And she's like, so, you know, if you lose, we all die. You know, Sansa dies, I die, you die, your dad dies, all of that shit.
Everybody did.
Everybody did, right.
Everybody did.
So they're like, all right, well, that makes this pretty simple then. We continue to move forward. So, yeah, I guess the biggest takeaway from me for that scene was that she, in somewhere in her mind, she really saw it as an option for him to call the banners but stay in Winterfell, which is dumb to me.
Right.
And then it was also me, like, looking on a map, like, watching Kat, like, go from place to place because she left fucking Bran and went to King's Landing. Then she made it to King's Landing, was headed back, ran into Tyrion, fucking took Tyrion as her hostage, took him to the Vale, and then stayed at the Vale chilling for a bit till she got this news, and then went from the Vale to meet wherever the fuck Rob is. So, like, you've been doing the most, like the absolute most, and I get that you're the parent, but you really thought that he was just going to sit at home? Like, you couldn't sit at home. So,
right.
Exactly.
That was also the moment it snapped to me about the time, which we were talking about earlier in the episode of, like, damn, like, okay, a couple scenes ago, she got that note from Liza. Now she is, a couple scenes later, meeting up with Rob, who we don't really know exactly where he is. And so, like, she's moving fast, and shit's moving fast in general. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, you know, in terms of the travel and having this idea that everybody had these, like, long road trips. Even when I thought about when Kat had Tyrion, I thought that they had a long road trip, like, when I thought back on it.
Right.
But even that wasn't long, you know.
Oh, well, they're in the Riverlands. They mentioned that, and then they also said they're about to head to the Twins, because that was the most logical. Like the
that's a good point, though.
To the next.
That's a good point because they left. Tyrion and Bran left before Kat did.
Right.
And Kat gets to Rob before Tyrion and Bran get to Tywin.
Right.
Well, and in storytelling fashion, we don't know if this is happening concurrently, but also think about it. It's two warring factions, so let's just say they're at the neck, and there's the twins. They're probably on either side of each other.
They're not too far from each other,
Right.
They can't
but they're probably on one side and then on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yeah, that was, like, most of my takeaways from that scene with Rob and Kat. And also that this is the beginning of a bunch of bad decisions that Rob makes. Which,
yes.
on my first watch was like, let Rob live. Let him do him. Like, he's cute. You know, like.
Also, remember he had the glorious winning streak, which makes you overconfident. He was getting W's. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
He was. Yeah.
It really was. It really, like, that's why the Red Wedding is so devastating. We really didn't see it coming. I didn't see any of that coming. And we were watching the show 4 seasons in at that point. So they definitely lulled us to sleep in terms of Rob making bad decisions. Like when he dismisses Roose later on in a season or two, we're just kind of like, oh, you know, Roose is he's just another guy with an alternative opinion, like Korstar. We don't realize that, you need to listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Kat arrives to Rob, and on the other side is Tyrion arriving to the Lannisters' campground.
Okay, so Tyrion rolls in, and I will point out there's a million funny things in this scene. I'm gonna highlight a couple. It's a very short scene, but there's a million funny things. Tyrion walks through. Tywin is sitting there with Uncle Kevan. It's pronounced Kevin, but it's spelled Kevan. George R. R. Martin. So Uncle Kevan. And they're sitting there, and to me, Kevan's looking at Tyrion like, this motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has a Tyrion being either the troublemaker or the trouble magnet, let's say. And it doesn't get any better. He walks through with all these hill tribesmen. And Tywin is giving everybody a once-over. So Tyrion does the formal introductions. Tywin, son of Tyto. He even calls him the Warden of the East. Did he say something like that?
I think so. Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah, that part. So it's like, you know, we know Warden of the North, but this is like, seems like a made-up, well, he runs over here.
Yeah.
Because Tywin didn't really have a position in the land or the council at this point. So he introduces everybody. He says everybody's name, who they're the son of. We get to see that hideous woman, who I think on first watch I didn't know. I'm being honest. I thought it was another, guy.
Right.
So then they get to Bran. He says, son of, and Bran leans into Tywin, and this is the first funny part. He says, you wouldn't know him. Like, don't worry about it. My father is just, you wouldn't,
You wouldn't know.
He wasn't in your circles, right?
Yeah.
So what else I wanted y'all to notice also in the scene is as soon as Tyrion gets there, he sits down and he tries to have a drink. And his father, pulls the pitcher away from him.
Yeah, he does.
Stop being goddamn drunk, because in a second you're going to find a brothel. And you could just tell that this is Tywin's eternal bane. It's not just that you killed my wife with your birth. It's not that you were came out as like a dwarf, a half-man, imp, whatever you want to call it, and I tried to walk you into the waters and drown you. But you've been a constant drunk fuck-up. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my eyes. Now, in other people's eyes, you're worldly. You're all over the place. You can tell where you're going just by recognizing a road. But to me, you've always let me down. Tywin is big on you let me down. He runs all three of his kids.
But Tywin is not pleased with any of his children. And granted, they're all kind of like fuck-ups on different levels, too, like just as humans, so I get that. But
no, but he runs all the same ringer. He says he does the same thing to Cersei, he does the same thing to Jaime. These are like the different strokes children. And what happened to them? Ooh, too early? I don't know. But anyway.
Oh, God.
I missed it. It's all right. It's all right.
You'll hear it on the post-production ad. You'll definitely catch it there.
Okay.
So then Tyrion introduces everybody. Like I said, we get to the Bran part. And then he gets... he gets caught up on all the news. Tyrion doesn't
all
know
the news.
All the news, right? Tyrion doesn't know that Rob's dead. Wait, does he find out that does he find out about them conflicting with Rob first, and then he said something about King Robert? Okay.
Yes.
They were saying, like, how is he going to stand for that or whatever like that. Yeah, he said Robert wouldn't stand for that or something. And he finds out that Ned is held captive, accused of treason. And then they talk about Rob, and Tyrion gives him the lowdown when he had time, when he's like, I like him. You know what I mean? So then he rolls right into, okay, Dad, you know the deal. I owe these guys all of these weapons. I made a deal using our name.
You know how I do.
I'm not. Come on, Dad. Come on. You know me. You know what I'm saying? This is my last time. I promise. I pinky swear. So can you give these guys a whole bunch of weapons? So I think Tyrion's plan is just to get them the weapons and they roll off.
Right.
So here's a question I have. When they were actually in the woods, Tyrion seemed to me like he was offering weapons, but also offering them the veil. Like, all of this could be yours.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then when they got to the tent, he was like, they just need some swords and some shit,
shields,
some shields.
But I'm also
armor.
I'm getting to that part because you also notice that Tyrion tries to dip off. Like, all right, just give him these shields and I'm good. Like, so he probably planned to give them some of what he was saying, but the veil, he was just trying to embolden them. Like, if you get these weapons, you can take over the veil yourself, I guess, in a sense.
Oh, okay. He wasn't actually promising them land. Okay.
No, I don't think so. And then we get to this next very important part. Now Tywin, we see Tywin get his Tywin thing on. If you fight with me, I'll make sure you get what my son promised you and much more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can lead men, and the woman man that's over there in the corner. So I will again, Tyrion.
You are really dissatisfied with that woman.
It was nightmare. Like, I'm having like a little problem. Like, I didn't know that was a girl this whole time. And so Tyrion's trying to exit stage left and shit, right? And then Shagar, he steps up and says, we will fight with you, but only if Half-Man is with us until we get paid out full bounty. Yes.
And that look that Tywin gave Tyrion was like, ooh, look at you. Oh, well. This wasn't going the way you wanted it to go.
You know you, my son, and you did it again, right?
Right.
We don't want
Half-Man. But that happened. Now, remember, that happened after they got news that Rob was on the move. That was directly after that. They got news that Rob was on the move, and he's like, all right, let Jamie know. Some word to Jamie. We got to try to head him off at the pass. And then that's when he approached Shagar. He was like, listen, all right, listen. You get all the shit my son promised you, but come fight with us. It wasn't hard to convince them. They wanted some action. You know they were not afraid of a little scrapping.
Right? They were ready to scrap.
They were ready to scrap with some real weapons. Sure, why not? Yeah,
instead of rock.
Because that was funny in the woods when Tyrion's teasing him about his weapons, and he slices his face open. So that's how Tyrion got that scar. Do we have this scar later on? I don't know.
No. That's a little scar. The big scar is the Battle of Blackwater.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but Tyrion, he gets fucked up even later on in Valyria with the Stone Men. Like, he's fighting them all. He gets fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So
after that, we cut back to Rob, and they're discussing strategy, and all the Frey comes up. We start talking about this unreliable motherfucker.
Yes. Cap's like, oh yeah, Walter. Well, at the what did she say? At River Run? Was that what she said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, River Run. He didn't come until after the fight. Oh, the Trident. That's what it was. She's like, he he didn't. He showed up after the battle was over at the Trident.
Walter Frey. The
late Walter Frey. Yeah, the late Lord Frey.
Which is insulting to him. Definitely. You know what I mean? He's still alive and kicking, but they're saying, like, nah, that's the double entendre of it. Like, when you say something
exactly.
Dead too. Yeah.
So, and so that pretty much came out of them talking about, like, the strategy. Someone's like, we got to get them on broken ground. Someone's like, or actually, no, we should get the Lannisters to meet us here. And so they're, like, trying to figure out exactly, like, where they're going to head to, and, to actually confront Tywin and his army. And they're like, and so Rob is like, look, either way, we're going to need to cross the river. And so what comes out of that is that Walter Frey controls that bridge to cross the river. And so that's where they're like, oh, we can't really rely on that nigga because he's the late Lord Frey, and he didn't show up until the after party for the last battle. So we can't rely on him.
The after party.
And it also shows that the Tullys and the Freys have history. Like, she's telling him, my family's been dealing with this guy for a long time. Like, he's bad news.
Yep.
He like Soldier Boy with the fake war stories and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
yeah. And that's what Kat said.
Yeah, the after
like,
party talking shit.
Their oaths more seriously than others do. That's all.
Yeah.
Right. Indeed.
So yeah, and that scene pretty much ends with decision time for Rob. Like, do we go here and meet Jaime, or do we go here and meet Tywin? We have to figure that part out. So yeah, they are interrupted by someone bringing in a Lannister scout that they'd captured, and so they escorted him into the tent, and he is confronted with Rob and Kat and the Karstark dude who is fucking heated.
So he's like a captured Lannister, and says he's counted 20,000 of the Stark men, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did he count them? What did he do? What kind of...
He counted the giants.
Oh, by pattern. Of course you had an answer for that, Castro. I'd love to hear your answer, because I think it is just exactly what Am said. But please continue.
If you say carry the something, I'm going to vomit.
Indulge us.
Please.
Game of Thrones. All right, so since they're camped out and they're like, they set up for camp, I think he just counted the number of tents and estimated how many men were in each tent. They all probably have similar tents. They know their tents hold 4 men or 2 men or whatever, and he probably did that.
I can ride with that.
Yeah,
I can
go with that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to
approve.
That's actually really good. I did not in any way expect it to be coherent or make sense. I'm very impressed. We should take this moment to pat you on the back so that you don't have to do it for yourself later. Fantastic logic there.
I'm on mute.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So he's like, yeah, y'all got 20,000 people. And, I'm is a snitch. I planned on going back and telling the Lannisters, because that's what I'm here for. And I can't remember who brought him in, like, by the scruff of his neck, but he's like, what do we want to do with him? And Rob's like, why don't you just go home and take a bath? Like, it's really not a big deal. If you just... I mean... I know it's cold. It's tiring. It's been you're the only one out here. They didn't send anyone else. So take some time.
I want to point out how this is Karstark. These are Karstark's great moments. That's why I'm kind of sad they switched the actor or they did something different, because he has this glee in his eye. When they wonder what to do with him, he's like, "Oh, he's not leaving here alive." He's like,
He's like, "What do you mean what to do with him? Oh, he's dead."
They're like, there's a Lannister scout. Someone covered the maps that they were working with.
Moved the map. Yeah.
Exactly.
He was like,
and Karstark is like, "Oh, we don't need to do that because he's not going to live." Like, why would we need to cover that?
Much longer. There's no report that he can give back.
He can look at anything.
Yeah.
Tell him my strategy. It don't matter. He's not living past tonight.
He is to dead, so it's totally fine.
Totally fine, you guys. Don't worry about it.
But then it's Rob, and Rob's brand new, and Rob is a senior in high school, so he's dumb. And he's like, you know what? I mean, if it were me in this situation, I probably would just totally be fine with walking away and not saying anything about it. So I believe that he'll do that. Why don't you go away?
I want to go home.
I'd want to go home. I'd want to take a bath. I'd want my direwolf to hang out next to me. So I think that he likely would like the same. So he can go ahead and go home. No biggies, no harm, no foul. Just don't tell anybody.
He gave him a message, right? Didn't he tell him to tell them something? Didn't he tell him?
Yeah,
he told him I think he told him, tell him how many people we have or something like that. Because for whatever reason, it was
right at your neck with the 20,000.
Right.
Like Rob got extra Wu-Tang with it and was like, "There's a lot of us, so it's fine. Go tell your friends." Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
I just want to say that this was Rob's fucking Ned Stark moment, because somewhere in there, in his little monologue, he mentions honor. And he looks at the dude and he's like, "I also know about courage," to insinuate that it's courageous that this one dude came out as a scout and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yes, this is exactly why you and Ned have the same fucking fate. Because y'all are thinking about the wrong things,
At the wrong time.
So, I just wanted to throw that out there.
So I thought initially,
fantastic point.
When he asked them, how many men did you count, and Rob started looking like, moving towards the idea of letting him go. I thought that was just his point. I want you to create some fear within Tywin. Let them know, are we out here? And I thought that was just his whole strategy. Him taking pity on dude. For that to started coming to it later, it was just like, oh, well, that's the weaker reasoning to let this guy go. He's courageous. He's a snitch. What are you talking? Yeah. He's a spy. He knew what he signed up for. It's like, it's like, I'm going to be a spy. It's not dangerous work. Don't worry about it.
I could see if he was sending him. I could see if he was sending him back with some conflicting information, like something that would throw them off, or a more emboldening message. They got 80,000 people, but you're not guaranteed. Tell her I said we got 70,000 people. You're not guaranteed. Once he gets past that, I'm glad. He might just roll off. He might not even go back to King's Landing. You don't know what happened to that guy.
Yeah.
We ever see him again? We don't know what happened to that guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought that, to me, would have made more sense than what Rob eventually did, like you said, and with the honor speech and all this other nonsense. Again, we just watching the show as it goes along during the first watch. But in the second watch, we're seeing mistake after Catelyn, after Rob, after Sansa, after Arya. I know these things happen based on some instinct or whatever, but we're watching a lot of folly, one after the other after the other.
So basically, on the rewatch, what we've come to realize is the entire Stark clan has been in Winterfell and been in the North and pretty much out of the mix for so long. They were completely, as a family, completely unprepared to deal with the rest of Westeros. Yes. They were out of the element.
So every last one of them, all 4 or 5 of them. Yep. totally out there. Even Bran
doing it wrong.
He goes off in the wilderness with no legs. You know what I mean? He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't train for that.
I'm sorry.
There was no preparation for that.
I'm sorry.
You were supposed to
Oh, shit. He was not ready.
But again, he didn't go out riding far. I mean, he was the young. You know what I mean? Like, nobody was prepared for the arena they all stepped into. The moment Ned said, "I'll be the handed. I'll take this position." You said, and they were went to go with. Remember, mentioned they haven't seen each other since 9 years since they did the Greyjoy rebellion, which can embolden anybody's confidence to let their guard down after beating them fucking punks. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh, it's good.
Yeah.
That was the last conflict. We good now. We all in the right. But again, winter is coming, and the Starks knew that above anybody, and I'm disappointed in how they ended up, almost being the authors of their own demise.
Yeah. Y'all knew winter was coming, but y'all wasn't ready for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the best moment in that scene, though, is when the Karstark dude, like after they let the dude go, and the Karstark goes, "Are you touched, boy?" Yo, it was amazing.
Yes.
Your fucking Trini aunt, like.
Yes. Oh, my God.
Oh. He always is loud. You touched, boy? Like, he's so tall and boisterous. Oh, my God. Yeah.
He was pretty salty. I think he had a flashback to losing them fingers, and it was like, I lost my fingers behind this dude. Oh my God,
that's some bullshit.
Oh my God.
But everybody was looking at him like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like his mom, everybody.
Everybody's confused.
It doesn't get no better, y'all. It only gets worse. Like
Right.
But again,
oh my God.
That's where it gets hazy because they're winning these battles, but he's making bad strategic moves on top of that. And he's like missing the forest for the trees and shit.
Yeah.
With Tywin is always playing the game. Always. Never forget that.
Listen. This is what they do.
Yeah.
So then there's a quick cut, right? There's a quick cut to Ned in the dungeon. And soldier comes by, kicks him.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're alive? All right.
No, not are you alive. Like, get up. Like, don't get comfortable. I thought it was that. Like, get your ass up. Stop being comfortable and sleeping and shit. You're under duress.
And then that's it. I was like, okay. All right. Just to remind us of the viewers, Ned's here. Ned is still existing in the episode. Right. Little Ned. Don't forget about while you're watching all this other bullshit go down. Ned.
Right.
Don't forget about Ned.
And yo, looking pretty pitiful, y'all. Like all of that armor, right? And I feel bad that they did this to this character. We still hold honor in high regard, but all of this honor and stuff that was his armor, and he seemed so righteous, and we thought, oh, this is our character. We all thought that. We're going to ride with this guy 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
For sure.
And when this battle, he's going to rule until Joffrey gets a little older. Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm sorry. That's just what it felt like, right? Everything was...
No, because that's what happens. That's what happens. You fall in love with a character. You watch the character go through their ups and downs. And you watch him come back and triumph. That's what's supposed to happen. George R. Martin was like, fuck what you heard. What you heard. He's out of here.
Yeah, but this scene, he was very much broken. He don't know where any of his children are. All his men are dead. Think about that. All the people he brought with him are dead. So he's feeling guilty about all the people he brought from Winterfell with him, the 50 people. They're dead. Lady Unella's dead. He don't know where his kids are. Whatchamacallit doesn't know where one of his kids are. When he talks to Varys, he doesn't know where Arya is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Totally destroyed. He's in the dark. He's dying of thirst. I can't imagine. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look good. There's a maniac on the throne. He's not giving me no pardon or nothing. I might not see light, God. You know, some Wu-Tang shit. I see light.
So we cut from that very short scene to Sansa entering the Red Keep in front of these maniacs, Cersei and Joffrey.
Yeah. So Sansa's the funniest thing about Sansa's interest to me is that she thinks that so she's walking through the crowd and saying hi to all these people who are looking at her like, girl, don't say hi to me by name. Like, she's like, hi, Mr. Such and Such. Hi. Hi, such and such. And everyone's staring at her like, have you heard about your father? And so I think that just further reinforces her naivety, where you're just like, okay, Sansa, just walk to where your destination is and shut the fuck up. You don't need to worry about greeting people. That's not important. So, yeah, okay, a lot happened here. So, first of all, Tywin is assigned. Okay, so your boy, Castro's homie. Say his name, Castro.
Bitch-ass pot cell.
There it is. There it is.
The bull. So Pycelle is running through orders of business and things that are going on. He mentions that Tywin is now the hand of the king, who is Joffrey. And he says that the thing that's of paramount importance is the life and safety of King Joffrey. And so following that, Cersei calls on Sir Berenstain. Berenstain?
Yeah, Berenstain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so she pretty much gives him the soft boot, the round toe boot. You've served long and faithfully, and it's time for you to rest and look back with grace and And
severance package for you.
Joffrey slashes all of that.
And he realizes that he's being fired, and he's like, are you fucking kidding me? This is, first of all, a sworn oath for life. And she's like, whose life? Yours or the king's? Because he's dead and you're alive. And Joffrey
we don't care
is
for
like,
you.
yeah. Joffrey's like, you let my father die. You're too old to protect anyone. And he is like, again, I did not come here for this.
Wait, Afro, don't forget that I think it's Varys that says you'll be provided with a keep in a certain.
Yes, I was getting to that. So before that happens, though, he's they're like, Sir Jaime will take this title. And he's like, that nigga? The Kingslayer nigga? Like, for real. That's who you're going to replace me with when you're saying that the life of the king is of utmost importance. You're going to replace me with the Kingslayer. Really? And they're like, yeah. And Varys is like, we got you set up. We found you a place by the water. You'll have servants, and you'll be taken care of nicely. And he's like, a hole to die in and men to bury me? Like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
Like, fuck y'all. He is heated, understandably heated. And he's like, I'm a knight, and I shall die a knight. And he starts fucking taking off his shit and throwing it. And then your boy Lord Baelish is like, a naked knight, apparently. So now everybody's laughing and they're like straight up clowning this man.
That was
and
wrong,
it is like insanely disrespectful.
Yeah.
So he continues to remove his armor, and then when he pulls his sword out, the other guards draw their swords as well. And he's like, even now, I could cut you motherfuckers like a slice of cake.
Woo! Woo! Shots fired. Bars.
Yes.
Bars.
And so he fucking throws the sword, and he's like, here, boy. Melt it down and add it to the other ones. I'm the fuck out of here. Like,
I want to say this
heated
in the series.
Gotcha. Closer to the mic. Close to your phone. You can't.
This is one of my absolute favorite scenes of the series. I really love this scene. The way he throws his Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me better? Okay.
Yes.
Yep. The way he throws his gloves. Yeah, I had to put my headphones back on. Technology. And the way he throws his glove, I can't. Okay, the way he throws his gloves down, then he throws the helmet on the gloves, all of that stuff, and and I think he pulled the sword after Baelish made his stupid ass joke. Then he was like, "Oh fuck this, y'all not gonna make me look like a fool as well." Because at first it seemed like a certain thing, and then when everybody laughs, like after it turns very embarrassing. And he wasn't supposed to go out like that. And especially, he served under 2 kings. He's been doing this a long time. That's a mistake on their part. I think we've said this in past discussions. Them getting rid of Barristan in the first place. Yes.
He's legit the nicest in there. Like, what are you talking about? It's crazy.
Yeah.
That was so crazy.
But I feel like that was all part of their strategy. They
clean house.
Yeah.
Yep.
And get their people in, just like Trump. Just like Trump, get your people in.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pretty much.
Because think about what was Jamie doing before then? I mean, he was a white cloak, but he was just a white cloak. He was just a regular old guard to Robert and that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so, I mean, obviously Cersei's gonna be like, your daddy can protect you better than anybody else, Joffrey, except you don't know that he's your daddy. So.
Right, yes, and that's true.
But you don't know he's my boyfriend, so I just want to have my boyfriend.
And he does take it real seriously. I mean, not to get too far ahead, but Jamie does he takes that real seriously, protecting his son.
Yeah. It's also interesting, too, because meanwhile, a couple episodes back, we get Tywin coming down on Jamie, like, you have talent and you spent your whole life fucking babysitting kings, you idiot. And then meanwhile, your sister gives you a new babysitting position, So.
Well, that's Cersei's plan to keep him close, and Jamie's plan always to stay close to her. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying the irony of it is interesting.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah.
But guys, do we at any point think? And I don't remember if it's ever brought up later on or if Tywin alludes to it. But we at any point think that Tywin's like looking at his kids like, and plus y'all having kids together. Like, is that part of his?
No, he does not know. He does not know. And
I don't believe that.
No, he actively denies it though. He actively
denies it, but that's different than not knowing.
Yeah. No, but think about it. Think about it more like you can purge it out of you, like you won't believe it. So it's to him, it's not reality. So he won't believe it if he ever
knows that it's he knows that it's a rumor. He knows that people say it. He knows that people talk about it. So he knows.
I gotta feel like he put some weight to that because again, it's glaringly obvious. You have 3 kids by Robert, and they're all blonde.
Oh, and Tywin knows he knows his kids. He knows, he's old.
Exactly.
Knows.
And the fact
that's what we're saying, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much it for that scene. That's one of Castro's favorite scenes ever. And then we get, if any man in this hall has, other matters to step before the king.
Oh,
now.
Man, here we go.
That man is Sansa. So Sansa decided to bring her matter to the table.
So this is another part where I'm like, oh God, I hated you and everything you're doing and everything you decide to do and everything that, like, you seem like you're forced to do these things, but you're not. You're just weak. I'm sorry to say that. You're just weak, for real. Because all I've been doing is I've put Arya in Sansa's shoes. And I already know what's going to happen. I put Lady Mormont in Sansa's shoes. And I already know what's going to happen. Now, it might not be glamorous. You might have been in a cell looking all dirty and shit. But you wouldn't have been there singing every song they tell you to sing. So she gets up there and she says, she tries to ask for mercy for her father. She starts talking, and then bitch-ass Pycelle, but treason needs to be stomped out like a weed. Shut up.
You know what really irked me? You know what irked me so much about Pycelle? Pycelle rides so hard for the new administration, Like he wasn't in the room when she tore up that decree. Like that's completely wiped from everyone's memory. No one remembers that happened in that same room.
Pycelle is the press secretary. He's the White House press secretary.
Yep. It just goes with the flow. Whoever's milking his prostate.
It doesn't matter what happens. I'm here for it.
Whoever is milking his prostate, he's all fucking.
Okay. God bless it.
He went there.
How did we? Yeah,
he went there.
We almost made it, right? We almost made it. Here we are.
Got close. We got close.
Right.
We got close.
Yeah,
we got close. Well, now the question
Matt
is.
Lauer, y'all. Matt fucking Lauer.
Matt Lauer.
Wait. First off, how you got a button to lock your office? Who built that office?
He had a what?
Wait, what?
So, all right, so y'all didn't hear what actually happened.
No, I definitely did not.
Oh, the incident was he pressed a button, locked the girl in his office, dropped his pants, and damn near rubbed his dick on the girl.
What?
Oh. Yeah, that's one of the incidents. And what they said
was yesterday or like 5 years ago? Like, what are we,
Oh, they didn't give any type of timeline. But it sounded like this is something that happened recent because they said, but the further investigation led them to believe that this was not an isolated incident, even though nobody else.
No, but that makes sense. The fact that he has a button that locks his door,
that's what I'm saying.
That lets you know this ain't a one-time thing.
No, that's button.
Wow.
Did y'all see what Geraldo said? Did y'all see what Geraldo
said?
Said TV is a flirty business, and sometimes people misconstrue romantic advances for shoot. And then they say again, get out of here. Are you kidding me? And I feel ashamed personally, just being a man and knowing that I knew this, but knowing like the full reality and brunt of how disgusting these men have been acting, how they're using their power to totally manipulate. Think about this. That in one industry, let's just talk about the acting industry, not necessarily mayor. You get fired and you get blacklisted. You don't work in that field ever again. Like, you don't work there at all. You do B movies and shit like that. Like, when Weinstein can shut you down, like, and you're just starting, you're like, oh, my God, I have this big future ahead of me. If I do these 2 movies, I do Toy Story and Indiana Jones or whatever, I'll have $10, $20 million, right? And this guy can literally make a phone call and shut you down. You'll never act in this town again.
Never. Yeah,
and
never.
So you got to take it. So maybe you get away from it, but maybe you had to jiggle his balls or something like.
Right.
Sorry.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. I know people. At my friend's job, she works at a medical insurance company. They were all like, "Oh my God!" Like taken aback. They've been watching this guy for years, and they just couldn't believe it.
I'm past the point of actually being shocked.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm past that point. I feel like every dude has done some sort of something, and I don't mean that you have physically assaulted someone necessarily, but every dude has done something. So
even looking the other way is doing something.
Yeah, or just
Absolutely.
making a woman feel uncomfortable, whether you're conscious of it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, at this point, I mean, there is no more, not him, like, no, every dude. And that's the point. The point is that that's the culture, and it's been completely fine to do so many egregious things for so long, and it's been okay to justify, well, he could just ruin everybody's career, so we just really can't say anything. Like, all of that. That's just what it's been. So, Matt Lauer, it totally fucking sucks to know that you've been watching someone. First of all, I'd like to say that I don't watch the Today Show, but I had absolutely no idea it had really been on or that Matt Lauer had been on it for 20 years. Like, seriously? That's what he's been doing for 20 years?
Well, I think he's been on NBC 20 years.
Yeah, but it's the same thing as, like, Al Roker.
The thing I read was, like, Today Show's 2 decades post. Like,
yeah.
Really?
It's like it's just like Al Roker, though. Al Roker's been around for that
but Al Roker's been there that long, and I do realize it. I feel like you don't see... Yeah, because you're not seeing Al Roker doing other crazy... Like, when you see him outside of the Today Show doing weather or whatever it is that he does, like, you see him in a situation that he should be in. Like,
right.
And then that role, I feel like he has 15 different shows or something, or there's always a special or a blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't realize that he was really just a Today Show host.
Morg, if you need a button in your office to lock the door, I could do that for you.
Oh, cool. Here we go.
You know what? I know you can. I know you can.
I can make that happen.
You're going to apply your big-ass brain. You're going to apply your big-ass brain to this project. That's what. This is the first project I think you volunteer for in this podcast.
But mine is a full-blown. Mine's a full-blown panic room, though. Like, mine isn't to, like, lock a dude in. It's going to be, like, lock everybody out.
Out, right.
And everybody else out there can die, and I'm in here safe in my panic room. Yeah.
Nah, I'm all for it.
That's what I
want. This project. But
I mean, it seems creepy because of him, but it's probably pretty convenient. If you're sitting at your desk and you have your door locked and someone knocks on the door, to not have to walk all the way over there.
Yeah, hugely.
Phenomenal.
That's not what he has for.
Synapses are firing off. We go from sexual harassment to Afro's new idea.
You got to find a way to capitalize. I'm not mad at that.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
It's already gotten into the wrong hands, right? It's already in the wrong hands.
It's already gotten in the wrong hands.
So we might as well just
it can't get any worse. Yeah.
But I also think this is a level up from the narco hat that she's already developed. You know, the Fed hat.
Yo, that is the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I'm like, yo, nice hat. You're like, yeah, it is.
It's a cheater's hat,
cartel's name? What's the name of the cartel? What's the name of the cartel? That's their name. Oh, I thought it was Rodriguez. It's Rodrigo. Oh, okay. That was definitely ignorant. Okay, so.
Wow.
So
all right, so Sansa brings her matter to the table.
Right. So Faisal interrupted Sansa trying to plead for her father with his treason needs to be stamped out. And it's like, anyway, I'm not going to, because I was going to go in a whole hole with his bitch ass.
You already did that. That's how we got on our last tangent.
Yes. So I do notice in our notes is a great point that I want to bring up that Afro highlighted, that she said that Ned would have been heated with the way Sansa is conducting herself, begging for the mercy of her father. Right? Not only
it's
that.
True, but when you say it like that, it sounds like she's fighting in the streets or something.
Quit being such a hood rat, yo.
You out here conducting yourself in this manner? How dare you?
You being a hood rat in the streets?
You know what I'm saying? Let me go protect my non-son nephew Targaryen. So anyway,
okay.
Right. And so, but not only begging and pleading, but also conceding with what they're saying. Like your father's a traitor. I know he is. He was on the milk of the poppy. He was dazed.
He would have never done that.
He was going off that poppy.
The woo-wee. He was smoking on the
that poppy.
He was going wild off.
I couldn't believe
ball. Right, and I'm watching her just like it's because at first I'm thinking, oh, this is what she has to say, but then I'm like, you're still saying it because again, we always reiterate, in your weird ass mind, hello, hi, Master such and such, you still think you're getting married to Joffrey, so you're still doing all of this stuff to keep that fantasy intact for that glass menagerie not to shatter and crumble right by your feet like it has been. Do you see how they're looking at you? Do you see how? Like, didn't Cersei look at her with a disapproving look and, like, shake her head or something at one point in the scene? Like, they're all looking at you like you're scum. And you think that you and Joffrey are still going to go arm in arm skipping underneath a canopy of flowers into the night with
definitely happening.
And so she just keeps conceding to what they're saying. And then Joffrey kind of slows it down. He's like, I want to hear what she has to say. And he goes into his whole poetic spiel, like he's Cyrano de Bergerac. Her words have softened my heart, and all this other stuff.
Terrible.
Right? I will grant you this, I will grant you this wish, and blah, blah, blah. I will show mercy. You have done something. I think right then he plans not to at all. But I think for court reasons, and again, he's still trying to impress his mom that he can do this. You know, because we always thought Cersei was just going to master puppet him, but I also see him trying to just, you know, impress his mom. She's counseling him. She's telling him what to do and how to get over when you let a dog bite you on the arm, when you let a girl disarm you, when you let somebody throw your sword into the river. This is you have to play these parts and make up these stories to believe in your own self. So he's doing things like that, right? And again, he's at court. Everybody's there watching him. He's trying to act like a king, act kingly, I guess. And I forget, what did Varys say?
I forgot what Varys said too.
Did anybody catch? Did Varys say something in particular? Like,
I feel like I can't remember either.
Did he agree with granting mercy? Maybe he did that. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was either Varys or Baelish. That said something about the sins of the. Didn't he, or was that earlier that he?
Oh, it was Baelish, and I think he was saying that she shouldn't be blamed for
the sins of the father.
The sins of the father. That's something separate. Like he wrote for Sansa in that moment.
Okay, and that's
so
the
he already
beginning
started
of
looking
that.
at her.
Yeah.
So
he has a plan. He got his plan.
I'll watch that scene again in the next recording. I'll confirm it. Yeah.
Let us know.
No doubt.
He was definitely on the
all right, so she gets to the point she's begging Joffrey to please show him mercy. And so Joffrey stands up and says, you know, I will grant you this wish, but he has to go in front of the entire public, and he has to say, I'm the king. He didn't just have to say, like, I apologize for this misstep or anything. He wants him to have a declarative statement in front of all to see that I am the true king, to denounce what he was doing before. And Sansa looks up, and she says, he will. Not knowing what the hell he's going to do. But I see a daughter trying to save her father. I just don't like how she went about it. You know what I mean? I definitely see.
Doesn't know how.
But again, I was gonna say more. Right then, I was like, this is also showing her youth. She's never been in this situation before. She doesn't know how to play this game. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's just making it up as she goes along. And she's actually looking to Cersei for leadership. You notice that? Like, I think that's how she was able to manipulate her so easy. She's looking to her as to what to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's sad because we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So now we're at this episode. Was it last episode that Ned said, I'm sending y'all away from here? Or was that the one before? And Sansa
it was last episode.
So then, if that was last episode, then is that the last time that Sansa and Arya see each other?
Yeah.
Well, it's the last time. Arya, but Arya sees Sansa at the execution. But you're right.
And
it's
she
the last
sees her
time
later too.
Well, later. But I'm talking about like.
But like in terms of them being together, same room, talking to each other.
Right.
Last episode.
This is a lot of last. This is the last time that Bran sees his mother. The last time he sees his father, his brother. Like
Bran sees his mother.
Yeah, like when she left.
About earlier.
I'm just saying, like, this season is all it is when some of them don't see each other ever again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, fine, listeners and folks. This was the episode, The Pointy End. Did that come up? Did that title apply?
Well,
yeah,
that was
Arya stuck the dude with the pointy end.
Yes, okay, sorry. It was a long episode. Sorry, that did happen. Okay, so I feel like we'll look at it when we get to like season 4 or whatever I want to look at it. These titles have gone through some type of changes. Like the titles are one thing this first episode season, and they're another thing the next couple of seasons, and then their whole title another thing in season 7. So it's just kind of interesting what they try to get across. Okay, thank you, listeners. We love y'all supporting us. This is always a great ride, another great episode, and we will be back next week at Same podcast has no name time. Same podcast has no name place. Any parting words from anybody? Nope.
Nope.
Bye, niggas.
All right.
Bye.